So YouTube says, hey, Jose's here. How you doing, man? You know what? I'll get some more light up in here. Hang on. There we go. It should be a bit better. Maybe I'll turn it more towards here. Let's see. No? More towards there. Okay. Hang on a sec. All right. Is that better? I think it might be. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore, the return of Jonny Jewraffe, live this Wednesday morning here in Jerusalem. Good morning, Different Strokes. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Go. JR, Go. Wait, hang on a second. Hey, Soviet Kong is here. How you doing, Chris? We praise Moloch. You know what? I do not, but if you do, that's fine. That's cool. Nobody's judging you. Not on my end, anyway. It's the Naz, says HWF. Good morning, Terminal Man 02. How you doing? Good to see you again. No, wait, you know what? Or maybe I should do it... No, I should keep it like this. That's fine. When will you come to Tel Aviv? I don't know, Chris. I just might do that sometime. I actually have a friend I want to meet there, and we've been missing each other. So I'm going to get there soon. I'm going to get to Tel Aviv soon. I don't know when. Do you read the Torah? Yes, I do. I try to read it every single day. Do you wear the little Jewish hat? No, I do not. I do not wear a kippah. Nasbrew went furry. Not for the first time, I might add. Not for the first time. Return of the giraffe horns, nice. Yeah, for sure. And no, not a furry. Not a furry. Though I have nothing against people who are furries. You know, they can do whatever they want. Bless and protect you. May the Holy Land be protected. Thank you. Most appreciated. Truly. Truly. Hey man, I love your walkabout Jerusalem the best. I was so excited last stream because I thought you would explore, but it was still dope. Thinking Time says, is that some kind of smooth jazz? Yes, it is. It is like piano bar jazz. Like a 3-hour thing on YouTube in the background here. Don't get in the car with the Hangover movie dudes. Well, Go, JR, Go. I've never been in contact with the Hangover movie dudes. Incidentally, I only saw the first one. I mean, it was pretty funny. But I only saw the first one. And there are what, like 2, 3, 4 of them? How many are there? As for last night's stream, yeah, it was very spontaneous. I was about to set up at home. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to go out. And I went out and it was really lovely. Oh shit, you're known in the furry community then? How is the Jerusalem scene? I have no idea. I am not part of the furry community. I'm not part of any specific Jerusalem scene. He's not a furry, he's a funny, says HW. Why do you as a Jew not wear the little hat? Because Gioella Kula? Because the hat is something our sages added to halacha. And the Nazarite's hair is something that is from the Torah directly. And so the Torah takes precedence, right? The law of the Torah takes precedence in that specific case over the law of modern day halacha. And the kippah, the yarmulke, has only been a thing for a few hundred years. Pious people of old and the sages of old and the priests at the temple used to cover their hair, but it's only been made into mainstream halacha in the last few hundred years. And so, the hair of the Nazarite takes precedence over that. My favorite animal is the elephant. I am Soviet Kong. The dreads are his hat. Exactly. The hair is the hat. Hey, Moy Grande is here. Good to see you. If Jews got Jerusalem from the Jebusites, then where do Jews come from? Well, Sudlush, Jews come from the remnants of the kingdom of Judah. Jerusalem was the kingdom of Israel. Then, when the kingdom split, Jerusalem was the kingdom of Judah, and Samaria, Shomron, was the capital of the kingdom of Israel. And Yerovam, the first king of Israel, actually in order to dissuade people from making the pilgrimages to Jerusalem, he built altars and golden calves in Beit El and in Dan. It was a whole thing. You can read about it in the Book of Kings. Are you Hasidic? No, I do have certain Hasidic practices that I've adopted and that I care for greatly, muchly. But no, I'm not Hasidic, never have been Hasidic. I've studied with several Hasidic masters and teachers over the years. Breslev, Chabad, I'm very fond of, and I'm making a very broad statement regarding them. But yes, I'm not Hasidic, but I do enjoy the modern day Hasidism, right? The teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, the Maggid of Mezerich, right? Like I said, Rabbi Nachman. Are you a Jew? Yes, I am. Are you? I'm not a cartographer, but I believe there is land beyond Israel. It's an interesting theory, says Soviet Kong, that they lived outside of Israel before they occupied it. Yes. I mean, Abraham, in the covenant between the parts, received that. They'll be back hundreds of years from now because the iniquity and the wrongdoing of the nations, of the Emori, who were in Canaan, was not yet sufficient to kick them out. In other words, we can learn from that had the Amorites and the 7 nations, had they repented, had they treated each other better, had they not been, everything that they were kicked out of the land for being, or genocided by Israel, if they would have repented, they maybe would have been still in Canaan to this day. But it just so happens, and this the Torah says very clearly, that it is because of the wickedness of the people in the land of Canaan that they were being kicked out, not because of the righteousness of Israel that we were inheriting the land. It's the forefathers and the ancestors, right, and the mothers of old who found favor in the eyes of God. And then their people, right, the children of Israel later received inheritance, not because they were so high and mighty, but because it was the 7 nations here who were mistreating each other, mistreating the land, and the land. Okay. How are you so smart as a people? All the Jewish people I know are very smart people. How is this possible? I don't know, Talbo. I don't know. I don't know if I agree, because people across the board, you have them on different ends of the intelligence spectrum. So I know that people say that IQ-wise, certain groups of Jews show a certain deviation, like regularly above the average. Nobel Peace Prize winners, of course, many of them are Jewish comparatively, right, compared to the rest of the world, and the Nobel Peace Prize and the Nobel Prize winners of not the peace one, but the science ones, the economics ones, the hard science ones, as it were. How are they so smart? I do not know. How do you get that hair? I need to know. You put down your brush. You put down your comb. You shampoo, but do not condition for a year or 2. And then that's it. And then you can go back to conditioning. So that's it. You just let the hair lock up of its own accord. This is free-form, natural, neglect Nazarite, dreads. Is Jewraffe cuisine kosher? Is this an issue with your faith? No, Jewraffe is kosher, but we do not partake of the Jewraffe. I've heard a couple of different reasons. The first reason is we do not know precisely where to cut, right? Where to slit, where to make the incision, where to slaughter it in a kosher way. The other one that I've heard, or is that the main one? No, I guess that's the one. Something is vaguely in my mind, but I won't say it because I might be wrong. So yes, because they don't know precisely how to kosherly butcher and slaughter, right? How to shecht the giraffe, but it is a kosher animal as far as I can tell. You are not smart. No, Justin, I didn't say I am smart. I said people say that certain groups of Jews are smart. I myself am a very simple, and I'm a simpleton. That is what I am. Matt says, then don't follow all the laws in the Torah. I don't. I pick and choose. Furthermore, more than half of the laws in the Torah, more than half of 613 commandments pertain directly or indirectly to ritual worship at the temple or tabernacle. So we are now left with the remnants of the kingdom of Judah and the remnants of the commandments. However, even from this tiny, tiny little, piece of jewelry and this sliver of the mitzvahs that we can perform and carry out, they are indeed precious. Very, very precious. More than diamonds, more than gold. Scrolling down in the chat. One thing, says Sio Cracks, that always intrigues me about Jewish history is a transition of the ancient Jewish religion from polytheistic to monotheistic. So yes, right? And this is what Joshua tells them, right? From the beginning, our forefathers were pagans. And then Abraham went across the river. He adopted the teachings and the lore and the Torah of the one God, the Creator, and he commanded his children to follow him in that path. Isaac and Ishmael, later Jacob and Esau. That's the way it rolls. And while there was a long time when Jews who were supposed to be monotheistic, or Hebrews, the people of Israel, who were supposed to be monotheistic, still also worshipped other deities, we have been monotheistic broadly en masse, right? The general population of the Hebrew folk have been without any other deities ever since the beginning of the Second Temple era, when the inclination to worship false gods was lifted out. It's a coffee Q&A. I'm having a cup of coffee. A little too hot still. I'll give it another minute or three. And now we worship one Hebrew God, and there are no false deities in the faith. Now, are there individual people who might still be pagans and who worship false idols, or idols, gods who are false to worship according to the Hebrew faith and the Torah? Yes. Yes. There is no God, there is no hell, live life free. I agree, there is no God, and Jews have no hell. So, yes, right, there is no God in the sense that you or I would understand what there is, right? The idea of being, the idea of something being, something existing. God does not exist. God does not be in that sense. Ergo, God is not there. There is no God, right? According to what we're saying. That is correct. There are different revelations and things that we call God, and they have many, many different names. But I agree. Who is the wife of God if he have children? I hope you explain to me, says APX. Well, I don't know God. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. The idea of God having a wife and kids does not exist in the Hebrew Bible. Metaphorically speaking, right? When Moses goes to Pharaoh and he says, my son, my firstborn Israel, meaning all of humanity is God's sons and daughters. All of creation to some degree is God's sons and daughters. And humanity more so, us being made in the image of God. And among those there is Israel, who Moses tells Pharaoh is the firstborn. Now, it's not a question of better or worse. It's not a question of more or less important. That whole supremacist thing, I stay far away from it. But who is the wife of God? God has no wife. What we do have is the masculine, feminine, divine presence. Higher and lower masculine and feminine presence. And so those revelations are here, but they are only emanations of God. They are not God in and of itself. Right? I never will know the essence of God. I will never have that connection to the Creator, because I am a creation, and as such there will always be something in between. Let's continue. Your hair was promised to you 3,000 years ago. Yes, indeed. Did you know you're not allowed to eat meat as a Nazarite? First of all, Warlight, that is false. Completely 100% false. The only death that the Nazarite is commanded to stay away from is human death. Human death, a corpse, cemeteries, graveyards. Incidentally, the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard is that a cemetery is any place where they bury people. A graveyard needs to be adjacent to a church. I learned that a while ago. So, first of all, I'm vegan. And I went vegan. I was a vegetarian before that, and I went vegan after taking my Nazarite vow. I consider a very close relationship between the idea of sanctifying life with the Nazarite vow and sanctifying life through veganism. So I do see your point. But, halachically speaking, according to the Torah, according to rabbinic law, the Nazarite is allowed to eat meat 100% if the Nazarite eats kosher meat, which was kosherly butchered, and so on and so forth. Where are you getting this Warlight to? Where are you getting this law that the Nazarite may not eat meat? I disagree. That's not the way that it is in halacha. Nazarite vow forbids food from the vine. Yes, from the vine of the grape. And it's not all food from the vine. The leaves of the grape, for instance, are permissible. Any other part is permissible. The fruit, the grape, right? Grapes, raisins, wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, things of that nature, that is not allowed. Anything from the fruit of the grape. Grape leaves, for instance, that people roll rice or meat up in, those are permissible. Let's continue. Holy shit, if you were wearing this when Yapping Hobo wandered up. Oh, wow. I just might do that. I just might do that. I don't know if I'll meet him, but maybe. Can you be a Nazarite if you are bald? Some people can't grow hair. What then? You can take the vow if you have a lot of hair. You can take the vow if you are growing no hair. The vow is still on you. All the Torah says is, if you take a Nazarite's vow, let your hair grow wild and free. It does not say you must have hair to be a Nazarite. That is false. That does not say that. So, you can be a Nazarite if you take the Nazarite vow. You can be bald and not grow any hair, and that's fine. You're still a Nazarite through and through. What about grape sugar? It's practically powder. Well, if it comes from actual grapes, then no. If it is the result of the fruit of the grapevine, we are not allowed to partake of it. Love your vibe, friend. Thanks, Ryan. Are you okay? By the way, big fan. Yes, I am okay, David. The Blader? Bladit? Yes, you've been here before. Hello. Good to see you again, man. What's the Jewraffe outfit about? Oh, I'm a Jonny Jewraffe, or a Jewraffe, if you will. That's my persona when I get into the Jewraffe costume. I have a few different onesies, and I felt like throwing it on. Oh, whoops. The music stops? Ah, commercial. Hang on. Let's skip it. Very soon. So yeah, Jonny Jewraffe, or the Jewraffe. That is me. Just do this every now and then. And it's the 15th of Av, and it's a holiday. And last night, I didn't have the best evening. The night was great. I had that live stream 2.5 hours last night walking around here in the neighborhood, and it was lovely. But, I wasn't, I didn't have the best evening, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to throw on the Jewraffe onesie, and we'll have some fun, and we'll live stream it. Put on some jazz. The commercial is still ongoing. Hang on a second. Come on. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second, and skip. Is it back? Yes. It'll come up in a second. Okay, let's keep scrolling down. Let's see. What's Judaism, says Bart? What is this false religion, if I may ask? Well, Judaism is the religion and faith practiced by the Jews, the remnants of the kingdom of Judah, hearkening back to the times of the Torah thousands of years ago and the revelation at Mount Sinai, where God was revealed to the nation of Israel at large. And it's, the Torah, the commandments, the Hebrew covenants, the temple ritual worship if one exists, when one does exist, and basically to do your thing, to walk humbly and righteously, God willing, before Adonai. That is Judaism. The Torah and commandments. Surely the Nazarite vow prevents you from being a furry. Well, first of all, I'm not a furry. Second of all, the Nazarite vow does not preclude you from joining the furry community. So, no. Hey, Josh is here. Ryan says, guys, remember this man is extremely intelligent and your insults don't stick. I'm not extremely intelligent. I'm extremely stupid. I have my moments. But as I like to say, I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm not myself anything special. Here is an idea. Stream on Twitch. You know what? I've been with YouTube for so many years. I had a poetry channel here. I had a parenthood vlog channel here. I had the previous Hebrew Nazarite channel here. I've been with YouTube for so many years, on and off, streaming, recording, vlogging, throughout different times in my life and different experiences I've had and things. So, no, I'm thinking I'll stick with YouTube. I do have, if you want to hit me up in the DMs, I do have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And Hebrew Nazarite is there. Look for my tree. But I don't post there really. I'm not involved in ongoing threads there and discussions and all kinds of communities. No. I'm here. This is what I love to do. I love to broadcast raw, live, unfiltered, unscripted. This is what I love to do. So this is what I do. And YouTube has been very gracious to me over the years, and certainly in the last 6 or 7 months, the algorithm has blessed me greatly, muchly, abundantly, and by the grace of the Most High, I keep on rolling. So yeah, YouTube, I want to stick to one platform and not get too, look, if I end up doing this somehow for a living, if I get a sponsorship, a brand deal, I don't know, and I can actually make a living at this, then yeah, I might get into the other platforms as well. Because once I can actually buy some equipment in order to have the processing power to stream to all of those at the same time simultaneously, from what I've gathered, it takes a lot of a toll on your computer, your graphics card, because you need to send different streams at different addresses or whatnot at the same time. I don't know, I don't know IT. I don't know the inner workings of the computer or how it works, but I do know that I don't have the computer power at this time. So I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this a great deal. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, she'akol yeh bidbaro. Oh yeah, that's a good cup of coffee. Okay, let's continue. Dookie Dread, says Jason. Yes, yes, indeed. People call them poo-poo dreads or poo dreads as well. How do you kill God, says Exorcism. Hey, good to see you again, man. I have no idea. I don't know God. I'm pretty sure that God is not alive in the sense that God can be killed. Ergo, God is not something that can be killed, because to be killed, it needs to be something with some sort of a life. And God does not have life in the same way that, let's say, you or I have life, or other spiritual entities, demonic elements, angelic, What is that giraffe costume, you junk? Says Aaron. It's a giraffe costume, and yes, I am junk. I am junk. I have junk. That's just the way the giraffe rolls. Jews versus Amish. I'd pay to see that. Hey, Septimus, good to see you again. What do you mean, like Jews versus Amish in like a WWE Cage of Death? Jews versus Amish in soccer? Jews versus Amish in banking, financing, and live streaming? In what way would you want to see the verses? FDF says, OMG, I hate you so much. Thank you, FDF. Good to see you again. Despite your hating me, you just cannot look away. I appreciate you being here, FDF. You add a lot and contribute and participate in the chats and in the comments occasionally, and I if I'm not mistaken. So I like that very much, and I thank you. Were you born Jewish? Yes, I was. Peace, love, butt stuff. Nice to see you again, butt stuff. Do you know much about Rastafari? Thoughts, Lincoln says. Well, the Rastafarians, look, Rastafari himself was, a king, an emperor to his people, crowned in 1930, right? That was Rastafari. And then he took on the name Haile Selassie. Rastafari means head of splendor, Rosh Tiferet, Rastafari. Haile Selassie means Chayla Shlosham, might of the Trinity. So they are Ethiopian Orthodox, primarily. Those who worship Rastafari himself as a god in flesh and the second coming of Jesus also have an affinity to the Christian Orthodox Church, though some of them do not designate themselves as Christian Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox Christians. So, the link between Rastafari and the Hebrew faith and the Jews is that the Rastafarians claim their lineage, at least in some way, back to the union of King Solomon of Judah, right, of Israel, and the king and the Queen of Sheba, something along those lines. And so, because they are the descendants of King Solomon, they are de facto of the tribe of Judah. And because we are also Jews, remnants of the kingdom of Judah, some of which are the tribe of Judah, I myself am not of that tribe, but that is the connection between Rastafari and the Jews. Also, the Rastafarians take on the Nazarite vow. I, and other Hebrew Nazarites, also take on the Nazarite vow. My thoughts are that there are some values where there is overlap. There are some values where there is a difference, or a disconnect, a theological, let's say, disconnect, particularly those who are more into the Ethiopian Orthodox doctrine, where the Jews are not. And so, theologically speaking, there's like a disconnect at times, but as far as values and views, Aital living, right, eating kosher, vegetarian, or vegan, or right, that idea of reasoning, the idea of elevating oneself, the idea of nature, love, right? There are, of course, militant vegans, militant Rastafarians who are vegans as well. Militant Rastas, militant vegans, militant vegan Rastas. But generally speaking, the Rastafari are, right, and they also split up, right? There's the Bobo Shanti, the 12 tribes of Israel, and what else is there? There's another one, a couple of other ones. The Nyabingi. So they have a few houses, right? They have a few houses as well. So there are connections between Rastafari and the Hebrew faith. Do you visit relatives who have passed in the cemetery? No, I do not, Muy Grande. I'm allowed to because I'm a Samson Nazarite. The Samson Nazarite is not defiled by death, so there is no there is no prohibition against coming into contact with dead bodies. The Samson Nazarite in that sense is different than the other 3 types of Nazariteships. And a couple of other things also apply. Can you do 6-7 meme? Sure thing, David. 6-7! So I don't visit because I don't go to cemeteries, funerals, but I'm allowed to. So at some point I probably will, and I do. I'm sorry, I keep asking. I'm really curious. What do you think of the Baha'i faith? Well, it's one of the Abrahamic faiths, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know enough about it to tell you, I think, based on what I know, X, Y, and Z. I used to know more about it. It has been years, probably like 20 years, man, since I looked into the Baha'i faith. I have been to the Baha'i gardens in Haifa. I didn't go into the temple, but I was there, and it's lovely, by the way. Truly, truly beautiful gardens. Beautiful. But I don't know enough. I don't know enough about it. I'm sorry. Who knows anything about Jesus? Don Wagoner. Hey, people in the chat, answer the man. Who knows something about Jesus? Do you do idol worship? No, I don't. How to live safely. And worship cow? No, I don't. Worship a cow or idols. No idea what to tell you, man. I simply don't roll like that. People here accuse me of worshiping Molech and Saturn. People here accuse me of worshiping of all kinds of deities and other things that have nothing to do with me. Not a thing. People also say that I worship Baal, that Yod-Heh Vav-Heh is actually Baal, and I try to open their minds a little bit to the idea that even though there was a Canaanite pantheon from which the Hebrews borrowed, they koshered it, they made it their own, they gave it their own Hebrew kosher twist, and this is not a false deity, it is not a foreign deity, it is the Creator, plain and simple. People have people have a lot of difficulties, much difficulty, grasping the things I'm saying. Not to say that what I'm saying is truth and what they're saying is lies. It's only that that's not how the Torah sees it, it's not how halacha, rabbinic law, sees it, and it's not how I personally see it. And there is no altar here for Baal or Molech or Saturn or any of the other foreign deities that the people of Israel have let go of. The people of Israel are now bereft of all of their false gods for a couple of thousand years already. Can you do the thing? Yes, I can. Which thing? I'll do the thing. Whatever thing you want me to do, I probably can do it. As long as it, is up to YouTube's guidelines and it's kosher. Hi, sir. What do you think of settlements in the West Bank, says Ace of Spades? That if they are legal, I am all for them. If they are illegal, then they should be dismantled. And if they are illegal, then it's illegal, and don't pass the laws to make them legal after the fact. I don't buy that. I see something not kosher and not ethical about that. Please debate Wesley Huff, says To Pitter Patter. Sorry, I'm not a debater. I just like having discussions with people. I don't debate anybody. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not here to change your mind, alter your views, sway your opinion one way or another. That's not what this is about. This is simply about the simple exchange of ideas, dialogue, discourse, underarm farts. That's what this channel is about, right? And, discussions, man. You were found worshipping a cow. Really, was I, BB Handler? I was found worshipping a cow? I can't remember the last time that I was near a cow. Probably a couple of summers ago. I think so. Super chat came in. Can you do the happy merchant pose again? Sure thing. If y'all want to clip it, now's the time. It's the Jewraffe. The happy Jewraffe merchant. Okay. What's up from Berkeley, California? How you doing there in Berkeley? Who is it? Alberto. Do you respect Jesus as a prophet? No, Jesus was not a prophet. I respect him as a righteous individual, but he was not a prophet. He did possibly have that lower spirit called spirit of sacredness or Ruach HaKodesh, but traditionally speaking, the spirit of prophecy was taken away from the children of Israel around the time of the beginning of the Second Temple era. The spirit of prophecy was taken away. It is poised to make a comeback, mind you, but it has been taken away, and it has not yet returned. For the nations, prophecy might still exist, but for the people of Israel, prophecy, as in the higher spirit of prophecy, not the lower spirit of sacredness. The spirit of prophecy has been indeed taken away and not yet restored. More jazz? Coming up. Okay. Sorry if it's a dumb question. No, it's not a dumb question. No dumb questions. It's all good. Keep them coming. I love it. I love it. It's a Q&A. That's what it's about. So ask me anything. I'm unintelligent. So am I. We have that in common. Uneducated. Me too. See? We're both uneducated and unintelligent. This is the way to roll. When it comes to Judaism. Yep. Let's continue. This man is a devil, says Resurrection. Just by looking at the tramp, you can see that. At the tramp? I mean, I am a bit of a tramp, I'll give you that. Let's continue. It says in the Torah not to do this. What, Bucks? It says in the Torah not to dress up in a giraffe costume? Wrong. Does it say not to live stream? Wrong. Does it say not to have a cup of coffee in the morning? Wrong. It says none of these things. None of it. Now, if you're not addressing me with that, then I'm sorry, mea culpa. But it says in the Torah not to do what? What am I doing here that goes against the Torah? Please tell me. He looks like he smells strong. Well, I am a giraffe. You know, I'm out there in nature, and I'm going to smell. Thanks, Horg. Horg. So Judaism is still waiting for the Messiah. Yes and no. There is no commandment to crown a king. All the Torah says is, if you do have a king, here are the king's commandments, and here are the laws he must follow. There is a difference of opinion among those who enumerate the 613 commandments on whether or not anointing or crowning a king is actually in the 613 commandments, with some of them enumerating it as one and others not. Shmuel, the prophet, Samuel the prophet, when the people wanted a king, he said, you do not need a king, Adonai is your king. Roll with him. And that's what I say. So, I'm not waiting for a Messiah, expecting a Messiah. If one shows up and is crowned and anointed by the people and is given sovereignty, by all means, great. I will be a loyal subject, God willing, to the King of Israel, to the new king. May it be so. I would love to have a new king if that comes to pass. Must it come to pass? No. Redemption, salvation, right? And everything to do with that is something that can happen from the outside in, from the inside out of the individual, and it's not necessarily about a specific anointed one or king of Israel. That's it. There are obviously those who are waiting on the Messiah, who put a lot of eggs in that proverbial basket of messianic kingship, but no, I am not among that number. That's just my view. Let's continue. Why are you hatting Palestine? I have not hatted Palestine, nor do I hate Palestine, if that's what you said. There's never been such a thing as Palestine. It does not exist. The people calling themselves Palestinians do exist, and some of them are innocent men, women, and children, non-combatants who just want to live in peace, raise their families, work for a living, live, love, laugh, fart, and then die. Peacefully, God willing. But Hamas is making it very difficult. The Fatah, the Al-Aqsa Brigade, Hezbollah, Iran, the Palestinian Authority, the warmongering death cult leadership of these Palestinian people is making it very difficult for them. And for Israel, for that matter. So I do not hate Palestine. I do not hate Palestinians. Judea is Palestine. This land is Palestine. Right? That's what it is. That's what the Romans called it. The province of Assyria and Palestine. Okay. From the river to the sea. Yes, indeed. Sumph Digga. Hey, Sumph Digga. Yes, indeed. From the sea of the Mediterranean all the way to the River Jordan, there will be peace and prosperity. No more war. There will be righteousness, justice, love, and peace abounding. Abounding. Let it rain. Let it rain. By the way, I posted your 6-7 on a different account, but I did tag you. Thanks a lot, David. I appreciate that. Did you take the Nazarene vow? No, there is no such thing as a Nazarene vow. Nazarenes are people from Nazareth. I'm from Jerusalem. Or people who were the original Jesus-following Jews before Christianity was a thing. Those are Nazarenes. Or the modern-day evangelical Church of the Nazarene. I'm none of those things. So I did take a Nazarite vow just over 16 years ago. I took a Samson Nazarite vow. God willing, I hope to go to my grave still under this vow. Okay. So yes, there's no such thing as a Nazarene vow. Mighty Habib, how you doing, man? Bro, now you are a furry. Yes, I am, Castoro. Yes, I am. I mean, I don't engage in furry sexual activities. I've got nothing against those who do. I just enjoy throwing on the costume. Dude definitely fingers himself. Well, let's put it this way, Anthony. That has to do with my own personal sex life. I'll just say that the prostate, the male G-spot. Enough said. You kill babies? No, I raise babies. Actually, Pakistan. Yes. Nonsense, even people like Golda Meir had a Palestinian passport. That is correct. The Jews were the original Palestinians, because it was Rome that called this place the province of Syria Palestina, and they did it in order to get the Judeans, who were revolting against them, to forget about Judah and the temple. Eventually they came by and destroyed Jerusalem and burned the temple, but they renamed this place Syria Palestina over two of some of the enemies of Israel, the Assyrians of the north and the Philistines of the northwest, from the Greek Isles. And so, the original Palestinians were Jews. That's what the Romans called us back in the day. And then the British Mandate of Palestine and Transjordan after World War I, that was over here from both sides of the river, for that matter. And it was Arabs and Christians and Jews, Muslims and Christians and Jews who had a Palestinian passport. So people are, they can go kick rocks because they don't know history at all. At all. Why Jews were kicked out of 109 countries, Calwick says. They were not. They were kicked out over the course of history of between 15 or 20 countries, and that's including after 1948 from the surrounding Arab Muslim countries, and that was the actual ethnic cleansing. Not the bullshit things that people say is happening now. That's nonsense. But there was an actual ethnic cleansing of Jews from the surrounding Arab Muslim states after 1948, together with things like Portugal, Spain, England. It's never been 109, not even close. 15 to 20 max. Now, the Jews have been kicked out of various cities, towns, provinces, counties, villages, yes. But not 109 countries, not even close, not even a little bit, not even a fifth of that. Why do so many Israelis speak Russian and English, says Riley. Well, I'm bilingual. I was born to American parents here in Israel. I speak English and Hebrew. I'm fluent, I'm bilingual. Russian people made a great ascension to the people of Israel after the fall of the Soviet Union. After the Soviet Union broke up, there was a great migration of Russian Jews and others, and so many people speak Russian to the degree that they are a part of the Israeli population. Also, English and Arabic are taught here as second and third languages. So that's why. I want a pizza, says Muhai Jam. Hey, go for it. Get a pizza. Get a pizza. I, as somebody who doesn't eat dairy, it's been a long time since I had a proper pizza. Really. But I do love the taste of a good pizza, I'll tell you. What's up with the tentacle hair, says Liu. I'm a Nazarite. Nazarites let their hair grow wild and free. And that is what this is, wild and free hair. That's what it is. Why are you using AI, says David. I'm not. Nothing about this is AI. Does it look like I have 12 fingers? Maybe to you, I don't know. This man should be registered. Yes, Stephen, I am registered. The state is aware of me. They know. I have an ID number. I've served in the army. I was even held once at a police station because I was working as a security guard and I neglected my weapon, and so it was a whole thing. So the state is aware of me, and I am indeed registered in the annals of the state. What do you think of the Jesus of Nazareth? Oh, now it's the Jesus? Okay. I think he was a good man, a righteous man, and that he is a dead man. That's it. No more, no less. Why are you using AI? Once again, I'm not. Pichiru. At least you're not wearing lipstick. Ooh, that's a good idea. Should I go grab some lipstick? What do you say, people in the chat? Should I go quickly and find some of my woman's lipstick and put it on? Let me know. What kind of animal are you? I am a human mammal. I am a mammalian human. Hello, but I'm dressed like a giraffe right now. I'm a giraffe. I'm Jonny Jewraffe. Are you a Jew? Yes, I am, Mark Cloud. Are you? If you want chat to determine your decision, says Bills. I mean, I might decide, I might not. It's nice to see what the chat might have to say, because you're the ones here watching me live from Jerusalem. Yay! On this lovely 15th of Av in the morning, it's 10:30 a.m. I've got some jazz going here. I've got the camera. I've got you people. It is so lovely. It's nothing to be taken for granted. There's so many horrible things going on in the world, even right now as I'm saying these words. So many terrible tragedies, so many awful occurrences, so many just gut-wrenching, soul-crushing things are happening to so many people right now. Somebody is going hungry, somebody is being murdered, somebody is being raped, somebody's life is being destroyed. And I'm here in a giraffe costume, broadcasting live on YouTube with a cup of coffee, with some music, in the heart of Jerusalem. I give thanks and praises to the Most High God. This could all change in 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen. But as long as I am here, and I'm still drawing breath, and I still have a couple of brain cells to rub together, I see nothing better to do right now than be here with you people and address some of your questions and have a few laughs and drink some coffee. Verily, these are the good old days. Okay, let's continue. Impressive faith. Oh, sorry, the chat just jumped. Sorry. Do you have a couple of brain cells to spare? No, XX, I don't. I'm down to my last 2, and dude, they have been holding on for years. Occasionally making a synaptic connection, like occasionally, and then fizzling out. So no. David says, not you, the guy using AI to write in Hebrew. Oh, I see. Secret Hashiria says, get this guy to fucking answer. Do you mean get me to a place called Answer? Is that like a geographical location? Or do you mean to get me to answer or address a question? Let me know, which one? I don't know if I can go to Answer right now. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Are space alien giraffes kosher? I would be inclined to say no. But if they do exhibit, if they do exhibit the same sort of markings, right, the simanei tahara that make an animal kosher, then yeah, they just might be kosher. I would be on board, definitely would. Do you ever wear a strimal? No, I've never worn a strimal. I never have. I don't know if I ever will. It's just not my thing. Storm says, we're having a lovely night here in New Jersey, an absolute wonderful place to live. Yes, it is the Garden State, is that correct? And yeah, I've been to New Jersey once or twice. Not for very long. Jazz is back. Let's continue. Yes, exactly. A giraffe is kosher, but we do not know where to slice its Is your hair real? Yes, David, bro, my hair is real. How long did it take to grow out? I mean, I haven't been to a barber in about 18 years, and before that I had a shaved head with 2 long side curls that I grew up to about down here, and I never cut them or shaved them off. The hair just grew around them. Stephanie, you make me laugh so much. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's good to laugh. It's healthy to laugh. It, the feel-good hormones, and it strengthens the immune system, and it basically is good. Humor is good. There's a reason why laughing yoga is a thing, right? What is the state of the red heifer? I don't know, Mark Cloud. As far as I know, people are working on it, but it has not yet come to pass. So there has been no red heifer yet. However, the Nazarite Rabbi Yehoshua Friedman here at the Temple Institute, he posited in his book Nazir Elohim that the ones who will slaughter the red cow and purify the rest of the people will be Nazarite priests. Priests who are not defiled by contact with death due to their Nazarite vow. Because when you take on the Nazarite vow, you go into a state of ritual purity. And unless you are defiled, you remain with that ritual purity. What's the giraffe doing to zebra? I don't know how to live safely. What is the giraffe doing to zebra? Dude is pretty chill for a giraffe. Yes, who knew, Drew? I am pretty chill for a giraffe. That's true. That's true. I mean, I have my moments. Damn, bro, you have good energy. Thanks, Deathstrow. I appreciate that. It's good to have energy. There are times when I have more. There are times when I have less. But these live streams, they truly give me a hit of energy. It's a lovely discourse to always have with you good people. It's a lovely back and forth. I'm having a very good time right now. And like I said, anything can change, anything can happen in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, who knows? But here I am, right now, coming at you live from Zion, and it is the place to be, the thing to do for me right now. And I'm really feeling it, and I deeply appreciate your participation and your kind and gentle attention. The fact that I can sit, that I can press go live, and there's a discussion here, and there are people here, and there's a vibe here. That's something that I do not take for granted. It is no small thing. Okay. You're awesome. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. Morning, HN. Hey, Rusty. Hope all is well. Yes, all is well, Rusty. I hope all is well with you and the rest of you good men and women out there. That beard looks like when my cat has a hairball. Yes, Carl, because it is my original growth. I never shaved it. So it is just as organic, just as messy, just as wretchy as your cat's hairballs. Literally. Be vegetarian. I agree. I was vegetarian for some time, and then I went vegan 16 years ago. So yes, vegetarianism, veganism, respecting the earth, respecting earthlings, sanctifying life, doing no harm. I am on board with all of that. It's not something that can exist 100% of the time because we live in this world of knowledge of good and evil. There's always a price to pay for your way of life, whether you are aware of it or not. You're going to pay a price. Other people will pay a price for the decisions you make, the things you do, the things you don't do. But veganism, indeed, vegetarianism, is, I believe, a blessed thing, a welcomed thing, an Edenic thing. So yes, I agree, 9AAD. Be vegetarian. Y'all are evil, says Hunter. Yes, yes I am. Very evil. I'm vegan 8 years, says Odin. That's cool. That's really cool. You should open a Discord community. Nope, once again, YouTube is my thing. It's always been my thing. If I, get to do this for a living somehow, then sure. I mean, I'll join other platforms and I'll start expanding and broadcasting to different platforms simultaneously. YouTube will, I think, always be my root and my home. Shalom, says Ram. When do we have tea together? Hit me up in the DMs if you're in Jerusalem. Let's have some tea. I'm down. I'm definitely down, Ram. This shit is exciting. Yes, it is, Josh. Yes, it is. Why don't you wash? I do, XF. I shower on most days. I do indeed wash. The beard is wild and the hair is wild, but the rest of me is proper, groomed, washed, clean, fresh smelling more often than not, depending on what I'm doing, and ready to go. How do you justify the red heifer sacrifice then if you're vegan? Complete ignorance, Hunter says. Because that's not a question of consuming food. All right? That's not the idea. The idea is ritual purity and impurity. Now, the red heifer, I said the Edenic thing, right? I mentioned veganism in relation to Eden and that original intent, if you will. The red heifer and defilement of death, that came into existence, right? Death came into existence after partaking of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. Consider, in Eden, in the story of creation, that is when death came into being. You eat from the fruit, death comes into existence. So, There will come a time, and this is what the Nazarite chip is about, that's what the Edenic veganism is about. There will be a time when we will be able to go back to that mindset, back to Eden, to partake of the fruit of the tree of life, at which point death and the defilement of death will be lifted clean out of creation. It was brought into being in Eden, it will be taken out of the equation in Eden, so to speak. And so, it's not ignorance to say that it's a means to an end. We have ritual impurity, we have things like washing the hands, immersing in a ritual pool, the mikveh, right? We have things like the sprinkling of the ashes of red heifer with a branch of hyssop on those who've been defiled by a human death, right? By a body, a corpse. So, it's not ignorance. It's a question of the spiritual and the physical. It's a question of a means to an end. So, yes, I would rather it be so. I would rather it be so that we will be able to bypass the temple, bypass, if you will, the laws of purity and impurity, bypass the anointed King Messiah. Those are all middlemen, establishments, different rules having to do with purity and impurity. That is a duality. Purity and impurity have to do with this world, with nature. That's also why with the red heifer, the one who slaughters it becomes impure. On the way to purifying others, he becomes impure. Because purity and impurity are part of this world. Ritual cleanliness and ritual uncleanliness are a part of this world. The Edenic mindset is above. The tree of life and its fruit are above. That is what the Nazarite chip and that is what the Edenic veganism, as I conceptualize it, that is what it's about. That's what it's shooting for. That place of singularity before the duality. So it's not ignorance. It's simply using the tools that are available when they're available. So if we do need to slaughter a red heifer in order to purify the people, in order to then get to a state of Eden and come together and partake of the fruit of the tree of life, then I would say, yes, that's the way to get that done. In the very same way that if a king shows up and the people crown him and accept him, I will be on board with that. If there's an anointed one, right, I will be on board with him. If there is a temple or tabernacle that is constructed, I will be on board with that. Despite my veganism, despite the idea of me thinking we don't necessarily need it, it is a means to an end. And if we have those means on the way to that end, you could argue over whether or not the end justifies the means, and that's an open discussion. I'll be glad to have it with you. Considering the fact that we are not quite there yet, the temple, the courts, the laying of the hands, like from Moses to Joshua, the kingship, all of that might come to pass, but it's not the be-all, end-all of creation. It's all on the way to partaking of the fruit of the tree of life, all on the way back to Eden, all on the way to humanity phase 2, creation phase 2. So, you could say it's ignorance. I'm accepting that. That's fine. But I don't think I'm ignorant in this matter. I've given it long and careful thought. Let's see. David says, in the Gemara, the Nazarite is called a sinner because of the wine, abstaining from wine. That's true. The Torah calls him holy. So, yes, exactly. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. The Torah is about controlling desires and using the world properly. That is correct. That's what part of the Nazarite chip is about. It's about, right, elevating this reality, bringing Edenic elements down to this earth, using the physical body for spiritual tasks, and elevating the physical tasks to be more spiritual, bringing the union and unity of the divine masculine and feminine presence in the world, and through their union, breathing new life into creation, so to speak. I agree with you, says Stormbringer. I hope that gives you some small bit of peace. Thank you. It's nice to be agreed with. I don't have to, but it's nice when there's agreement in the chat. It's nice when there's disagreement in the chat. Do you fart? Yes, I do. Every single day, I expel gas from my anus. I'm laughing at your attire. Thanks, Suzanne Florence. You look great. I'm sure you look great, too. With or without a Jewraffe onesie. Witchcraft's witch, says Gooning Satan. A great name, Gooning. Nice jazz playing. Yes, yes it is. Beeswax says, you natty. You mean natty or natty? because Nate is one of my former bosses. A good guy. Good guy. Do you like Matisyahu? So I listened to him in the late 90s, early 2000s, right, with when he first sort of started to break out and when he arrived in Israel. But I have since, for the past, 15 years or so, I kind of tuned out. Not because I don't enjoy his work, just because I tuned out. I'm sure he's doing a lot of good things and still making music and still killing it. You are the most skibbity person ever, says Hole Diggin' Club. Thank you, most appreciated. I'm skibbity inside and outside of the toilet. Are you a wizard, says A Flynn. And if so, what kind of wizard are you? So no, I am a wizard's apprentice. I am not a wizard yet. I am only an apprentice. What kind of a wizard? I think time will tell. Time will tell. I have a great affinity with Radagast the Brown. Who says, I really enjoy the way you bypass all the haters, keep on being awesome, my new favorite Jewraffe? Well, I don't necessarily bypass. Sometimes I sidestep. Sometimes I bypass. Sometimes I hit them head on with my, with my horns, with my Jew horns, my Jewraffe horns. But I mean, these people who are hating in the chat, I love it that they think that their hate means something. I love it that they are there on the other side of this screen, all, this guy at the persecution, I'll show him. Like, okay, show me. Your zeros and ones are most appreciated. Do you like Crostini Ronaldo? Si, says Sky. Do I like him? I don't know him as a person. But I do think that he is one of the greatest soccer players, right? Football players. Kaduregel in Hebrew. So much for being the chosen one, says Ethiel Watch. I never claimed to be a chosen one, so okay. God definitely didn't choose that giraffe suit. No, God did not. My wife chose that giraffe suit. She said, here, I bought this for you. I think you'd look good in it. On the terror list and sex offender list at the same time, Airwalker says, well, I'm not a terrorist, I'm not a sex offender, or a sexual terrorist, so I'm not sure if I'm on any of those lists. I'm just a meek giraffe. Let's continue. I was not a chassid, David. I've never been a chassid. I've studied some Chabad chassidism, some Breslev chassidism, the best original teachings and the Magid of Mezerich, and those are the old school, new school Hasidic teachers. But I've never been a chassid. Never have I ever. I do enjoy certain Hasidic practices. Chief among them is hitbodedut, seclusion, the spontaneous dialogue, right, and prayer, the meditative prayer. I need to see him rub his hands greedily together, says Carl. I'm your man. Let's do this once again. I did it already like a half hour ago. Let's do it again. The happy giraffe merchant. There, clip that. Okay. So why did you grow wigs? Oh, I'm sorry, it's peot. Right, peot. I grew peot not as being a chassid, but as a chassidic practice that I took on. I had long hair when I was 17, 18. I shaved it off and I left a tiny little bit here, and I grew it into, I had my peots for about 5 or 6 years, and then the hair simply grew around them. I never cut them off or shaved them. I grew the peot and I started growing my beard at the time, or just let it grow, in order for my physical body to manifest what I wanted spiritually. That's pretty much why. That's also part of why the Nazarite grows his or her hair out. Do you know any adults that have been snipped as adults, says Big Mac? What was their experience like? I have to use another word, or you see it. Alright, by snipped you can mean either circumcision or a vasectomy. Do I know any adults that have been snipped, like personally, that I've spoken to? No. I don't know any adults that I know of, for a fact, that have been snipped, circumcised, or snipped, have had a vasectomy as adults. So I do not know personally, but you can look it up. I'm sure many adults have many different experiences on both of those procedures as adults. God, you look terrible, says user 37717. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do go on. You are so kind. Oh my God. If there is a cabal of Jews, says Helmholtz, which there may be, this guy's not in it. No. As George Carlin said, I am not in the big club. We are not in the big club. Do you neck be sore? I don't know what neck be sore is. Is your hair heavy? No, it doesn't feel heavy because I didn't make the knots, I didn't make any twists, I didn't do anything, I just let it grow. So because it grew organically, sectioned out organically, and locked up organically, the weight had time, right, my neck had time to organically take on the weight day by day, bit by bit. So I don't feel any heaviness. The only times when it might feel a little heavy is after I shower and I wash my hair, which I don't do every time I shower. And then it's heavy because it's water, right? And then I wrap it in a towel for 20 minutes to soak up the majority of the water. Then I let it air dry. So it never really feels heavy. So no, not really. Take a bath, says Tender Dove. I do shower regularly. I don't have a bath here in this apartment. I've mentioned this so many times. I am a bath person. I love dimming the lights. I love putting on music. I love lighting incense, bath bombs, essential oils. I love it. I love it. But I can't do it here. I can't do it here because I don't have a proper bath. But I really, really miss having a proper, long, hot bath. Ugh. It's so relaxing. It's so rejuvenating. So many people say, what do you mean, a bath? You're just stewing in your own filth. I'm like, no, not at all. If you go in like completely muddy and filthy, then maybe you can make that argument. But if you're just run-of-the-mill, regular, having a bath, no, not at all. More jazz. So, yes, I love baths. I'm very fond of baths. I take full advantage of baths. But I have no bath in this apartment. I have a shower. Is marijuana legal in Israel? You smoke. It is decriminalized, but not 100% legal. Medicinal marijuana is legal for those who carry a card, right, and a license. Do I smoke? I used to, and I no longer partake. I mean, I will definitely be partaking in the future at some point, but I no longer regularly partake. I used to have a puff or two off a joint every day or so, before bedtime, chilling out at night. And again, with marijuana, I always say, set and setting, respect the herb, respect your body, respect your mind, respect the substance, and set and setting, harm reduction, be a high-functioning stoner and not a low-functioning pothead. Don't let your life revolve around the herb, right? The bulk of one's psychedelic experiences should come from the inside and not from the outside, so I say. Hey, David gave me a banana. Thanks, man, a giraffe. Oh, and an orange and a banana. Cool. Most appreciated. Incidentally, people, 100% of what you give to this chat after YouTube takes its cut, whatever ends up in my bank account goes to charities here in Jerusalem that serve East and West Jerusalem alike. Jews, Muslims, Christians, Baha'i, Shinto, Hindu, Rasta, whoever it is, individuals and families in need, I give to organizations here in Jerusalem that serve the entire population. If you want to give to charity here in Jerusalem, feel free to donate to the channel. But, of course, it's not a must, and YouTube does take its cut. And if you're gonna donate anything to charity, start with your own community first. But just know that if you donate to this channel, 100% of it that ends up in my bank account, you can look at the community tab. I have the receipts there and the places I give to every month. It changes, so go for it if you want. Commit toaster bath. I don't think so. I think I might be killed. Maybe. Or maybe I'll turn into the Flash. Who knows? Are you a furry? No, I'm not, Ahuman. I have nothing against furries, but I don't live that lifestyle. I don't rule it out. That sort of primitive, primordial thing. Sex is really inherently connected with that, and I'm a mammal, but I'm not a furry. I don't engage. I'm not part of that community. Most of this chat section, says Jim Bop, is so close-minded. That's okay. Some people feel the need to only have their biases confirmed. Some people feel the need to close their minds to other influences. They feel that if they open their mind, things might undermine their paradigms and the way that they view life. And nobody really enjoys having the rug pulled from under them. Not that I'm the one to do that, but the back and forth in the chat sometimes does that. On the other hand, I consider myself at times to be very open-minded. Some things I might be closed-minded about. I think they are few and far between. I'm always up for discussion. I'm always up for, conversation. People in the chat might be closed-minded because they see something that they don't quite understand. And so they close their minds because they are maybe somewhat fearful. I don't know. But that's been my experience with people in the chat. Are on drugs. I'm on caffeine. Caffeine is a drug. Other than that, right now, no, only caffeine. In absolution, WTF, I'm witnessing here. Hello, you're witnessing me, live from Jerusalem, here to address your questions, good and bad and stupid and foolish, encouraging, enlightening, educational. All of it is good to go. Ask me anything. Let's do this. What's up, Jonathan? Akol tov, David, akol tov. People love to pick sides, to pick a side. Yes, Cheese Roller, people love to pick sides. Now, is there something inherently wrong with picking a side? No. Should that mean that you then take the out group and cast aspersions on it? Try to minimize it or destroy it? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Bro, you are closed-minded, says APX. Okay, APX, fair enough. What am I closed-minded about? I might agree, I might disagree. So let me know in the chat. What is it that you think I'm closed-minded about? I'm fairly open-minded. Let's continue. Do you donate to Palestine also, Carl says. So, there are Palestinian Arabs living in Jerusalem. I donate to causes here in Jerusalem, organizations that serve the entire population. So, indirectly, yes. As for direct contributions to Palestinians, let's say in Gaza or the West Bank, I've asked people, this has come up in the past, I asked people, you'll have to give me 100% assurances beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I could verify, that it won't end up in the hands of Hamas or the Palestinian Authority or any of the other terrorist regimes, because terrorist organizations notoriously use humanitarian causes, charity foundations, and all kinds of organizations to fund their terrorist ways. And so, every single time this has come up, and it has come up 4 or 5 times already, where, where I broadcasted or put in a post the payment coming up, and I asked people to give me suggestions on where to give. And ultimately, usually, somebody says, what about Gaza? And I said, okay, I'll give the money to Gaza if you can show me, without a shadow of a doubt, beyond any kind of, unequivocally show me that the money won't get to the hands of Hamas. And then they disappear, because they're just all talk. And that's it. Not one person has actually come back at me, and I give them every option. Email, DMs, in the comments, show me. Give me a phone number, something. Put me in touch with someone. Tell me that it will go. Show me how it will go, to babies, toddlers, families in need, and not the terrorists. And I will give to Gaza as well. I would. But these people are full of shit. They just say, what about Gaza? And I say, okay, show me how. And they go, that's it. They're gone. They don't answer me. They don't give me any information. Nothing. Every single time. You're about the 5th or 6th person that has done this. To each and every one of them, I say, yes, I will give to them if it won't end up in the hands of terrorists. And then they disappear. They disappear into the void from whence they came. Because they're full of shit, and they're all talk, and they're virtue signaling, and that's it. They're not actually doing anything. They're just talking about whataboutisms, and you're not doing. And again, those people can get lost. So if you're one of those people, stay in the chat, but don't mention that to me again unless you're actually going to back it up with action. Who is the terrorist in Gaza? Well, the Hamas combatants and militants, and the ones they indoctrinate are innocent, but they might also eventually be terrorists, so I don't know. I don't base terrorism on what you might become. I base it on action. So yes. Can you guide me in the law of return? Not all the way. No, I cannot guide you all the way in the law of return because I don't know the intricacies of it, of the ins and outs of who legally, according to law, is considered a Jew, therefore has the right to return. Because you have Judaism through the mother, which is rabbinic Judaism, halakhically Jewish. You have the tribal affiliation through the father. And so it really does depend, and it goes on a case-by-case basis, whether or not the law of return can apply to you as a Jew and the state of Israel. It's not very cut and dry. What's your opinion on metz b'peh? Metz means juice. Mitz means juice. You mean metzitza. My opinion is that even if it was debunked physically as a route to faster recovery of the wound of circumcision, there is an esoteric and a spiritual meaning to that action that is performed as the final act of circumcision. However, because it's been debunked as far as I know as a route to faster recovery, and because there is that danger when people do it with their mouth, and because it might not be something that's physically necessary or desired any longer, and because it's not inherently part of circumcision that is kosher. The first two parts of circumcision, milah and pri'ah, without them it's not a kosher circumcision. But if there is milah and pri'ah, that means slicing off the foreskin and spreading the skin, but there is no sucking out of blood, be it with the mouth or with a single straw-like apparatus, a single-use surgical straw-like apparatus, then the circumcision in that case is still kosher, which means that my opinion on it is that it should continue, not with the mouth, too dangerous, use a single-use straw glass tube thing, that's what we use with our kids, and if it does come to pass that it needs to pass away as part of circumcision, I'm okay with that, because milah and pri'ah are what make up a proper circumcision. Metzitza b'peh may become optional. But it is a physical thing that has an esoteric and a spiritual root, and in the esoteric and spiritual sense of the action, that still has merit. A super chat came in. Can you mod me? No, David, there are no mods. There are no mods. It's a free-range chat. The spammers, the haters, the trolls, the Nazis, the lovers, everybody, the people with the likes and the subs and the people who are viewing, the people who swipe away horribly. Oh my God, what is that? Swipe. All of you are welcome here, but there are no mods, there are no bans, there are no timeouts, there is no censorship other than the minimal YouTube censorship that it puts in of its own accord. And I need to do that or else the channel would be in danger, and I don't want it to be in danger, so I employed the most minimal and basic censorship that YouTube has, because there are people here who would target the channel and get me reported en masse and removed. I don't want that to happen. Did Israel destroy hospitals, schools, and mosques? I'm assuming you mean mosques, the show of life. Israel did destroy, or at least to some degree damage, hospitals, schools, mosques, private residences, and other areas where there were Hamas combatants, where there was terrorist activity going on. Which means that even though hospitals, schools, and mosques and private residences are supposed to be protected under the Geneva Convention and other conventions of engagement of war, Hamas, because they embed themselves into those establishments, those buildings, those structures, those homes, those places within the civilian population, those places lose their protection. And then there is only the question of proportionality, to which Israel is answerable. But to target those places as proper military targets, that is not on the hands of Israel. The people who die there, the innocent people all over Gaza, who die there, right? The blood is on the hands of Hamas and not Israel. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt clear to me. Are there individual psychopathic, homicidal, genocidal people, who just want to slaughter everyone? Yes, I don't stand with them. I am not with them. I want to have peace and prosperity with my neighbors. No more war. But if Hamas is hiding in mosques and schools and hospitals, Israel will be forced to destroy them. And it's within Israel's right to do so. And Israel many times gives a warning for the people to get the hell out. What's the first recorded circumcision? Crazy to ponder how that tradition began. I don't know what the first recorded circumcision is. I do know in the Torah, the one to be commanded with circumcision is Avram, and that is where he got the letter Hey and became Abraham, Avraham. Before that, he was Avram. Absolute Zaya washing. No, Relo, Fav, and Mirwa. No, this is actually true. Whether it's according to the Geneva Convention, whether it's according to documented history of Hamas being in those locations and in those places. So, this is not Zaya washing. This is me speaking the facts. You don't like it that Hamas embeds itself into the civilian population in order to have the death toll rise for purposes of religious martyrdom and propaganda? Don't come at me. Go to them. Talk to your freedom fighter buddies. Tell them to stop using their own population as human shields. Tell them to stop using children as cannon fodder. Tell them to stop using mosques and schools and homes and private residences, and then those places can enjoy the protection that they are entitled to by the Geneva Convention and other conventions of engaging in warfare. Okay. Same old propaganda, dude. Yes, you can call it propaganda if you want. That is a wonderful way for you to escape anything and say, oh, it's all just propaganda, I don't need to listen to it. God forbid. No. It's not all propaganda. Hamas does this willingly, voluntarily, gleefully. And you can see this even in October 7th. It was Hamas and many Gazans that were there too that were not Hamas combatants. People indoctrinated by Hamas. And so combatants, terrorists, and civilians, Hamas and regular folk alike, were part of this, and they continue to be a part of this. Now, this should not put a target on every innocent civilian's back, of course, but if Hamas is there, and they are firing rockets, and sniping, and shooting, and attacking civilian and military targets alike, they do not have the option anymore of hiding behind children and men and women, and they are bringing it upon themselves. And Hamas is knowingly doing this in order to have the death toll get higher and higher and higher, so people like you can come on some random dumbass's YouTube and say, oh, the Zaya washing. God forbid you should actually take a look at what's going on in Gaza. No. Propaganda. Joshua says, you're in a giraffe outfit, it's taking away from your seriousness. It's actually amazing stuff you're saying, but people aren't going to take you serious. That's okay, I don't need them to take me seriously. And you know that, exactly. I have I have love for you, just think. Thank you, Joshua, I appreciate it. I don't need to be taken seriously. I don't need people to listen. We're here having conversations. If I'm having a dialogue with someone, even if it's just one person, and there were many times back before this channel got the traction that it has been getting, thanks to the YouTube algorithm, that I was having conversations with only a handful of people here and there. But the algorithm has blessed me, right? And the YouTube gods, if you will, have been very bountiful and very gracious to this channel in the last, 6 or 7 months. And it's really lovely to see how more and more people are showing up. 90-something% of them are swiping away in horror. Ah, it's a giraffe. But a few people stick around. A few people I can have conversations with. A few people even like or subscribe, and that increases the chance of me showing up in their feed next time. So it's all well and good, and it's a win-win-win for everybody involved. It's a win for the haters. It's a win for the lovers. It's a win for YouTube. It's a win for me. It's all good. So I don't need to be taken seriously. I just need to be. All right. Perseverance says, what the fuck is YouTube sending me to watch, bruv? How the fuck do I end up here? See? The algorithm blessing me with so many people. Either give me gems or make me feel like I am in the fucking Matrix. Yeah, YouTube gives you gems or you're in the Matrix. It's true. It's true. Yeah. So, hey, stick around if you want and see which one this is. Stop the Holocaust in Gaza. I'm sorry, who said that? The chat just jumped. Sorry, I didn't see the username. There is no Holocaust going on in Gaza other than the one that Hamas is inflicting on its own people. But you are aware, probably, that the word genocide has a meaning, and it was first attributed in the modern day to the Jews in World War II and the Final Solution. There is a word called Holocaust, also had a revival in modern day in connection to the Jews and World War II and the Final Solution. And so there is no genocide in Gaza. There is no Holocaust in Gaza. And if there is, it's Hamas genociding its own people by putting them in front of with targets on their backs. And it's Hamas who are gratefully letting all those innocent people die in order for their leaders to line their bank accounts and pockets with more money, more possessions. I mean, it really, really is so sick and twisted. They are ruling a dictatorship. They were democratically elected in 2006, and there have not been elections there in 20 years, because they are not a democratic state. It could have been, but Hamas is a terrorist organization, a warmongering, bloodthirsty, disgusting death cult of a regime. That's what they are. That's what they always are. It's not what they always were. Hamas actually started off as a charitable welfare organization for the quality of life, to raise the quality of life of the Palestinian people. And then it had like a militant wing, and then the militant wing sort of took over and totally overshadowed everything else, and now they're just a regular run-of-the-mill terrorist organization. What the fuck, says God, but... What? Hi, hello. Hello, God butt. I bet you have a God butt. You, sir, are my hero. Thank you, humbly right. I appreciate it. I'm nobody's hero, believe me, but it's nice to say. Says the furry, says Unknown. So again, I'm not a furry, but I'm not anti-furry, per se. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Minecraft? I've never played Minecraft. I've watched my kids play occasionally. I get it that it can be an outlet for creativity, but that's it, I guess. If you're playing it rather than watching other people play it, if you're actually playing it and you're constructing worlds and you're on a server and you're building things, maybe it has some merit as a creative outlet. Other than that, I do not know what to think of it. Let's continue. Bro, the Jew never keep their word, says APX. Never go read Quran or history. You will find they give word, then they go back. They did it with Musa. Yes, the people of Israel many times defied the word that Moses gave them. That's why they were attacked by enemies. That's why the crops failed. That's why they were exiled several times. And that is still the case. That's plainly in the Torah. We are a stiff-necked people, for better or worse. So, yes, you're absolutely right. However, there will come a time, and it will come to pass, when we are able to take our inadequacies and bypass our insufficiencies and grow to be better and become more than what we are. And we will, God willing, keep the Torah, the commandments, and the covenants of the Hebrew people and do it in the best possible way. In truth, in simplicity, in righteousness, in humility, with no transgression, no rebelling against the Most High God, no need to anger the divine revelation, and no desire to do so. And then, God willing, things will progress in earnest. But the Jew never keeps their word is false, it's disingenuous, it's dishonest, it's not true. Are there Jews who are compulsive liars? Yes. Are there Jews who never keep their word? Yes. To say the Jew never keeps his word is bullshit. Sorry, it's real bullshit. Let's continue. Is being Jewish a race, religion, or both? So this is an ongoing thing in God We Trust. Being Jewish means just being part of the tribes of Israel, right? And the remnants of the kingdom of Judah. The kingdom of Judah, right? Judah, Benjamin, and parts of Levi, that's the kingdom of Judah. The Jews are the remnants of the kingdom of Judah. In that sense, they are a people. The Jews have a religion that pertains to the one Hebrew God, and temple worship when there is a temple, and in that sense there is what's called the Jewish religion, or the Jewish faith. And it's a race to some people. Some people call us Semitic, people of Shem, but there were many other people who came from Shem, son of Noah. Likewise, we are not exactly a race, because you can convert to be a Hebrew man or woman no matter where you come from geographically, no matter the content of melanin in your skin, your eye color, how big your schnoz is. It really makes no difference. You can become a Jew. Ergo, it's a people that you can be a part of. It's a religion that you can join. It's a place, right? Judea, the kingdom of Judah, to which you can journey. It is all of these things. And depending on the argument you're trying to make, or depending on the opinion you're trying to defend, or depending on the apologist position you're trying to take, then you can claim it's a faith, no, it's a people, no, it's a religion, no, it's a place, no, it's a... I don't know. Let's continue. Moro Selikoi, how did I get? I don't know. How did you get? Good questions. Good questions! So what's your stance on the land theft and genocide, says Juan, that there is no land theft, and when there is, I will protest alongside you against it and say it's wrong. And there is no genocide, and if there were, then I would say, yes, that is wrong. That's my stance. The only land theft proper, right, is the one that Hamas wants, and the Palestinian Authority wants, and the other Arab Muslim nations whom we don't have peace yet with want, right, which is to kick all the Jews out and ethnically cleanse us and kill us all, right? And as for the genocide, like I just said, those are two things that are looking to be done upon us. There is no intent to steal land, and when there is, and sometimes there probably is, I will stand by you and say that is wrong, do not steal the land. Religions are poison for humanity, says Hijo. So I agree, there is that facet of organized religion that could be seen as toxic, but at its root, I don't think it is toxic. At its root, I don't think it's poison. At its root, I think it has a benevolent and graceful and kind idea. The idea of taking on a burden and taking on a yoke, of disciplining oneself, of walking a path, right? Walking a way where you are connecting to something greater than your physical self, greater than just your own little fragment of soul, something greater than your own life, be it through community that you become a part of, or be it through the idea of expanding your consciousness to being outside of yourself and diminishing your ego and letting yourself shine through in the true image of God in which you are created. And you can make the argument that some religions are better than others insofar as the hierarchy of values is concerned. Yes. But religion as such is not all poison. There is the potential for corruption. There is the potential for toxicity. There is the potential for control. There is the potential for subjugation. But that's not what religion is about from the onset. Let's continue. This is basically psychology, says Josh. I mean, psychology is something that's discussed here in the chat. I'll give you that. Hang on a second. Take a swig of coffee here. Oh, yeah. Are we back? Yes, we're back. More jazz. Smooth jazz. So you think Jesus Christ is boiling in shit? No, I don't, Mark Cloud. I believe that's one opinion that's put forth in the Talmud, but it is not rabbinically binding to believe that. That was not made into rabbinic law. I believe he is simply a dead man, a righteous dead man, no more, no less. I don't believe he is boiling in excrement. I'm as high as Jewraffe, grade onesie. You, Yom Tov. Yom Tov Magal, what? Yom Tvar Magal, I'm not sure what you mean, Jalen, but a happy 15th of Av, a happy Tetvav Be'av to you. Says the homeless-looking guy in a onesie. Yes, that is correct, Raphael. I do speak, I do say. You can agree, you can disagree. Take whatever you want from what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should believe me. By all means, don't believe me. Take everything I'm saying with a big old grain of hummus. And that's it. Do your own research. I'm not looking to persuade you of my point of view. I'm just looking to have conversations with people. Do you believe in God? What do you mean, Matt Air Force? I think you've been here before. I mean, I doubt that I believe in God in the way that you might believe in God, so conceptualize it for me. Tell me what you mean by believe. Tell me what you mean by God, and then we'll be able to have the conversation. But I don't know God. All I know is how God is revealing himself to me, right? Through creation, through nature, through Torah, through life, through the 10 Sfirot. Do you like jazz? Yes, I do, Mr. James. I'm a fan. Do you live in Israel? Yes, Dozer. I'm in Jerusalem. I live in Israel. I've always lived in Israel. I had a few years in the Netherlands. And yeah, that's the only other place where I've lived for a long period of time. Make David a mod. I don't think so. Don't think so. No mods here. No mods. Do you believe God/higher being interferes with man? So says. So again, I don't know God. Are there revelations that might interfere, as you put it? Yes. But humanity, mankind, right, has the ability of manifesting that image of God in which we are created. We were given dominion over creation. We were given dominion over the earth. We were given the stewardship and the caretakership of the different physical and spiritual planes. And as such, even if there is a revelation that is coming to interfere, as you put it, we have the capacity, we have the ability to counter it by acting in such a way in the world where we would be manifesting that divine image in which we were created, thereby bypassing that interference and bringing new energy to counter it from on high. See what I mean? In the very same way that you have the cycle of water, where it's water from the sea, and water goes down as deep as it can go, right? And it's on the surface, and the surface is heated, and the vapor, and then it becomes the clouds, and the rain, and so on. In the very same way, we affect things that come from top to bottom by acting and sending things up from bottom to top. And then new things occur due to that. See what I'm saying? All right. Explain the murder of children trying to receive aid. Where was Hamas hiding then? First of all, you'll have to give me the precise instance. I cannot explain. If there was a murderous, homicidal, psychopathic soldier who was targeting innocent children, men, and women who were receiving aid, when there was no Hamas present whatsoever, and nobody told him to open fire, or the ones who told him to open fire as well, even if they knew that they were innocent there and no Hamas there, that I cannot explain other than saying that person is a genocidal maniac. They don't belong in the army. They need to stand trial, be brought to justice, and go to prison. In that sense, yes, I do not explain it. I do not justify it. Murder, that's not killing in a war. That's not collateral damage. That is proper murder. And that person should either be put to death or sent to prison for life. Whatever the courts will decide, I am not a judge. I do not adjudicate. But that I will not explain. That I will not justify. If there were Hamas people there who knowingly embedded themselves in those lines to receive aid, who were firing at the Israelis, civilians, military targets, then they brought it on themselves and on the civilians around them. Is it ideal? No. Is it the way of war? Yes. Is it what happens in dense urban warfare with terrorist organizations who use guerrilla tactics and who embed themselves into the population in order to kill the population? Yes. That is the nature of what's going on here. And again, lay that at the feet of Hamas. Lay that not at the feet of the IDF as a whole. There might be individual psychopathic soldiers and commanders, and they should be out of their, they should lose their rank and go to prison if they do carry out their homicidal, genocidal thoughts and intent. That is psychopathic. That should not be. But to lay everything at the feet of the state, the government, the IDF, as if that's the go-to doctrine, that's bullshit. Let us continue. Is that his hair or beard? What the fuck, says E6T47. Yes, this is my beard, and this is my hair. I'm the Jewraffe, Jonny Jewraffe, coming at you live from Jerusalem, bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. AMA, people, ask me anything, and maybe I will address it. Please explain the 11 Sfirot. There are no 11 Sfirot. The Sefer Yetzirah very clearly says 10 and not 9, 10 and not 11. What you do have is the higher form of Tiferet, from the torso corresponding to the third eye. And it's not a Sfirah in and of itself. It's a bridge between the higher 3 and the lower 7. Da'at is the higher form of Tiferet. Or you could say it's the lower revelation of Keter after the Gimel Rishonot, So the point is, there are no 11 Sfirot. There are none. I know there are those who say there are 11. According to kosher Kabbalistic tradition that I try to cleave to and cling to, according to the Hebrew Kabbalah as such, there is no 11th Sfirah. 10 and not 9. 10 and not 11, says Sefer Yetzirah. But the 11th Sfirah, which is Da'at, is actually one of the Machri'im, right? It's actually one that brings the unification That's why da'at is knowledge. Like a man biblically knows a woman, there is connection. Da'at is the result, if you will, of chokhmah and bina, right? You have the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, the connection between them that brings forth. Okay. Is the DMT dimension counted in those? I have never done DMT. I, at some point, will probably engage in and partake of the dimethyltryptamine, but I have not. And it really is intriguing, but I have not yet. Maybe I will in the future. Incidentally, since I mentioned a psychoactive substance, as always, set and setting, harm reduction, test your drugs, respect the body, respect the substance, respect your mind, right? And do it, and integrate the experience. Do you believe in reincarnation? Yes, I do. Welcome all. Yes, I do. Which theory regarding the location of the Ark of the Covenant do you find most convincing? I don't know if convincing, just one that makes sense to me. The one that says that it's underneath Jerusalem, in the catacombs underneath Jerusalem. That's what I would think. Dozer, do you personally believe Jesus is in hell or heaven based on what you believe in? There is no hell or heaven in the Hebrew faith. There is no place of eternal damnation or eternal bliss and rest. That does not exist. There will be something akin to that, right, called Gehinnom and Eden, but those are both waiting rooms. They're temporary, on the way to partaking of the fruit of the tree of life. Until then, it's like in between, you know what I'm saying? The Gehinnom is kind of like a purgatory place where you have a temporary, a place of purgation, of cleanliness, of purification. Eden is a place of rest, but it's not the be-all, end-all place of eternal rest. And I do believe that, since it's my opinion, based on what I've known and read, that Jesus was a righteous man who lived a righteous life, that you could say that his body is in the ground and he's a dead man, and his soul is in Eden, awaiting with the rest of the other souls, if you will. That's what I would say. Let's continue. Did you ever try to go there? To go where? I'm not sure. Do you believe Yeshua will come back and explain everything? No, I don't. I think Yeshua is a dead man. I think if there is a resurrection, it will be the resurrection that happens when we partake of the fruit of the tree of life. That is truly what's called Tchiyat HaMetim, the rising of the dead. Because death came into existence in Eden, and death will be taken out of existence in Eden. And that is why death came into the world, right? And we now have womb to tomb, when we are living in a world of duality, of knowledge of good and evil. But the fruit of the tree of life is not the tree of life and death. It's just a singularity. And in that sense, death will be taken out of the equation altogether. And then it's creation phase 2, humanity phase 2. Everything will be elevated. And so, do I believe Yeshua will come back? Along with the rest of us, in some way or form, with the partaking of the fruit of the tree of life. That's it. Let's continue. What if I have crucifixion marks and a story, says Welcome All. If you have the stigmata, right, that's what it's called, the crucifixion marks, and a story, good for you. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you not to follow Jesus. I'm not telling you not to think he's God. By all means, follow him, think he's God. It's all well and good. I don't think that he's God, and I do not follow him, but we can coexist even though we hold different opinions. You can't talk about Jesus if you live in Jerusalem, says I can't? Really? Why is it, I'm sorry, why is it that I can't speak of Jesus? I don't pretend to know anything about Jesus. I've read the New Testament once. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Jew for Jesus. I'm not a Messianic Jew. I don't know anything about Jesus other than what I've been told and other than what I've read in the New Testament once. I did enjoy the gospel very much. A quick aside, it's an hour and 40 minutes in. A quick aside to say thank you. Those watching now, those watching later, shout out to the replay crew. I deeply appreciate every like, every sub, every view, every chat, every comment, every DM that I get. The lovers and the haters, the trolls and the spammers and the Nazis and the insulters, the vitriol slingers, the people who are great, the people who swipe away in horror, the people who stick around, the people who turn on notifications, the people who report me. All of it is welcome. All of it is lovely. All of it is engaging with you, good people, and that's part of what I'm here to do, right? I'm just here to have conversations with people. I'm just here to engage with you, good people. It's so sustaining. It's so nourishing. The energy is always so lovely, and I'm grateful for your participation. Hang on. More jazz? More jazz. Let's turn the volume up a bit. So really, I am grateful for your participation. Those who are only viewing, those who are also participating. It's genuinely a wonder, and I do not take it for granted, and no, I don't. All right. Bass player says, engage, brother. Here I am, bass player, engaging with you. What type of bass do you play? He's not a god, says Walter Matthias Norris. You're right, but he is indeed Jehovah God's son. So yeah, I don't consider Jesus to be a son of God other than the sons and daughters of God that are humanity. So that's pretty much it. I love your content here. Thanks, the Energy V. I really appreciate the support. Reported you as delightful, says Snuffles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Isn't it totally plausible that something is hidden under Israel as well? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Many things are hidden. There have been many enemies. There have been many battles, many different conquerings and taking things over and ruining things, and and many ruins exist in the levels below the surface area of Jerusalem and Israel. So yes. Wait, so you still believe that Jesus is righteous even after he claimed to be God and you don't think he is? Well, let me put it this way. I don't recall if Jesus ever claimed to be God. I don't recall that being a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Christians and followers of Jesus, I only read the New Testament once. As far as I knew, there were people who came after him who said he is the Son of God, Lord, Savior, King of Kings, all that. But he himself did not say that. He himself said that, you need to put away your everyday life and follow me and my example. Did he say that he is actually God? I don't recall. I don't know. If he said he is actually God, that is one thing that he was not righteous in. But I do believe that he was a righteous person insofar as he wanted people to carry on with the Torah and the commandments, right? Love thy neighbor, love thy God. Those two fundamental principles of the Hebrew faith. And he came here, right, and he said, I'm not here to take away one word of the Torah, not one letter. I'm here to fulfill it. I'm here to carry it out. In that sense, that is the path of righteousness. When he was healing the sick, helping the poor, giving sermons on, and enlivening the people and lifting them up under the Roman oppression, that is a righteous thing to do. I don't know if he claimed to be God. Christians in the chat, tell me, did he ever actually claim to be God? You're correct, Jesus did not claim to be God. You are an insightful, wonderful being. Yeah, okay, that's what I remembered, and I might be wrong. And maybe there are Christians and followers of Jesus who say, no, he did claim to be God. But I only think that when he says nobody comes to the Father but through me, that it's like, yes, follow my example. Do as I am doing, and you will arrive inherently, by virtue of that, at the kingdom of God that is reserved for you personally. You don't follow Moses, says Welcome. I don't. What do you mean follow him? Moses is the bridge, the great bridge, the lawgiver. I do follow the Torah of Moses. He is also my tribesman. We are both Levites. I come from the same tribe. I have an affinity with other Levites. I'm sorry to say, but God did not create the world, says Andrew. Okay, that's cool. You can say that. It's all well and good. I do consider the divine to be the creator. I don't know him, or her, or it. But I do know that I do see that ineffable, unknowable, unthinkable, untouchable, inconceivable thing that we call God as also being the creator of the material and the physical and spiritual worlds. Who's your favorite Zionist? Oh, wow. Aleph Dalet Gordon, maybe? Maybe Aleph Dalet Gordon? Maybe. No. What am I talking about? My favorite Zionists are my parents. Those are my favorite Zionists. After that, the people of the old Yishuv of the early 20th, late 19th century. Your giraffe outfit is smashingly cool. Thanks, the Energy. I appreciate that. Disgusting, says the manatee. Yes, I am disgusting. Speaking of which, haven't done this in a while. Let's go with some underarm farts to go with the jazz. Okay, that's enough. All right, let's continue. Hey, I'm Israel Chayes here. Such a cute genocidal maniac, says the manatee. I'm not genocidal. I am a little bit of a maniac. Just enough, right? What did Seal say? We're never going to survive unless we get a little crazy. We have so many rules to follow in civilization and society. We have so many regulations, so many people telling us what to do and when. So when you can go crazy a little bit, by all means do. Just don't bring others, don't force it on others and don't harm others. Hava Nagila, says Raoul. Indeed, let us rejoice. That's what literally that means, Hava Nagila. You're a good guy. I'm sorry for same people, says Mr. Mark Trick. I have my moments, but I'm not always a good guy. I try to be a kind guy. Yeah. Jewraffe doesn't follow Mosaic law. Hey, Kunal. Well, the giraffe doesn't. See, that's why he's sticking out the tongue. Blah. Jesus claimed to be the one foretold by David, says CX. This claim is central to the Christian faith, as Jesus identifies himself as the Messiah, fulfilling the prophecies of the Old Testament. Yes, the thing with the Messiah is that you don't anoint yourself. You're anointed by a prophet, or you're anointed by the people. And you don't always need to be anointed either. The anointing always only happened if there was a dispute over who had the right to rule. And then, if there were a few contenders for the throne, one of them would be anointed, and then people would accept his sovereignty and his kingship. So, if somebody claims to be Messiah, that's all well and good. There are many people in Israel and outside of it claiming to be the king. And they're asking the people, come and anoint me, come and crown me, give me the authority, give me the sovereignty, give me the kingship, and I will rule over you. But there is no consensus among the people. There are Messiah contenders, even right now as I'm speaking, who are awaiting to be revealed, but we the people have not merited their revelation yet. But a person does not get to anoint themselves as king. I don't think that's ever happened, at least not in the sense of them being a proper king of Israel. I might be wrong. Do you have a Shabbos boy to cut your toilet paper? No, I actually do cut my own toilet paper. There were times in my life where I was keeping stricter halacha, strict rabbinic law, and I cut my toilet paper before Shabbos, but I have since come to understand that is not something that I have to do. It's not a necessity. It's an interesting thing to do if I have the time, in order for everything to be ready. But no, there are halachic rulers who say it is allowed and you are allowed. Many of them say you're not allowed to, but some say you are allowed to, and I go with that. So no, I have no Shabbos boy or goy to cut my toilet paper. My favorite rendition of Hava Nagila is by audiophile Joshua Moon. I don't know that one, Big Mac Orange. Kunal, why are you doing live stream like this today? I felt like it. Also, it's a holiday. It's the 15th of Av. In Masechet Ta'anit, in the Talmud, it says, there were no 2 days greater for the people of Israel than the holiday of atonements and the 15th of Av, where the daughters of Jerusalem would go and borrow white clothing from each other, and they would dance in the vineyards. It's a day of love. It's a day of unification. It's a day of matchmaking. It's a day when several things happened that were of good of benefit and of goodness and good omens for the Hebrew people. So it's a holiday, and a very bountiful and lovely holiday. May it be for all of us. Let's continue. So you cut toilet paper on Shabbos. Basically, you are a Mechalel Shabbat now b'farhesia. Shame on you. You are even proud of your Chilul Shabbat. So first of all, as I said, most halachic rulers would say that is Chilul Shabbat. But there are halachic rulers that would say that it isn't. And I, as you may know, I pick and choose everything and I make no apology. And so I decided I'm no longer going to do that. If I do have the time, then I might still do that before, because I love the idea of preparing things even to the tiniest of details, including cut toilet paper. But No, I don't do it regularly, and I try not to lechalel Shabbat. That much is true. And I don't think that I mechalel Shabbat b'farhesia. I don't break the Sabbath, out in public, let's say. But according to some halachic rulers, I would be considered a mechalel Shabbat b'prat, right? In reshut haprat, in reshut hayachid, and that's my business. That's how I perceive the Sabbath. That is how I perceive halacha. So you can say shame on me, and if you want to shame me, by all means shame me. Go for it. You can say that I'm shameful, but I'm not claiming to represent Judaism. I'm not claiming to represent fromness. I'm not claiming to represent orthodoxy. I'm not claiming to represent proper halacha keeping Judaism. I make that very clear. And that's why I don't define myself or consider myself as religious, precisely because of this. Because people like you come over here and say that I should be ashamed of myself when I go, okay, you can shame me if you want. I'm ashamed of certain things. This is not one of them. Okay. Let us continue. David says, בשולחן ערוך אורח חיים, נפסק שכבוד הבריות דוחה איסור דרבנן. Right, כבוד הבריות is a big thing, it's true. עדיף שלא במקום הניקוב, לכתחילה חייבים להכין. That's right. Now, when I do tear it, sometimes I do it בשינוי, and sometimes I do it not on the lines, and sometimes I do it on actual במקום הניקוב, on the lines. Okay? If cutting toilet paper is something that you would consider to be a major chilul Shabbat, then to you I am a major mechalel Shabbat. And so the fact that I do shalosh seudot with kiddush, the fact that it's a vegan, vegetarian household, which is mikvod Shabbat, the fact that I learn Torah with my family on Shabbat, the fact that I take time out to pray and have zmirot on Shabbat, if that means absolutely nothing to you, and all you want to focus on is, oh, he cuts toilet paper on Shabbos, he goes to hell. I know you didn't say that, but for all intents and purposes, you're saying that I should be ashamed of myself. By all means, if you want to say that I am a shameful Jew who should be ashamed for cutting toilet paper on Shabbos, go for it. I'm not telling anybody to do as I do. I don't claim to live a life that is halachically strict or viable, let's say, according to halacha. I pick and choose everything. I'm a man of cafeteria faith. I'm a man of cafeteria religion. I make no apology. That's it. Let's continue. Bro, you slandered elephant, says Kunal. I slandered elephant, really? Dude is extremely delusional, masquerading as intelligent. First of all, I am extremely delusional. Second of all, I'm not masquerading as intelligent. I have no intelligence. I am a simple dumbass in the Middle East with a phone, a laptop, a cup of coffee. Hang on, one last swig. Oh yeah. That's all that I am. Let's make this very clear. I have no intelligence. I have no functioning brain of any kind. I'm just working on instinct like an animal. That's kind of how I glitched, but now I'm live. I'm trying to hone my instincts. I'm trying to manifest that image of God in which I was created to the best of my ability. I'm failing at that, mind you. It's not something I'm able to do. It's not some ideal that I've already achieved. It's not a crown that I'm wearing. No. This is an ongoing, lifelong journey. So if you want to say, you people out there, right, if you want to say that I'm foolish, unintelligent, that I'm humiliating myself, it's all well and good. I accept everything you're saying as truth. That's all well and good. I don't claim to be intelligent. I don't claim any kind of truth or wisdom or knowledge. Not at all. I'm just here having conversations with people, live from Jerusalem. That's it. That's all that this is. That's all that this ever will be. Nothing more. I'm not a teacher, a preacher, a rabbi, a sage, a prophet. Nothing. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude in a giraffe onesie. And if you have trouble handling that, well, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Now, what I do pertain to be is somebody that has and is, right? I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I myself am not one. I try to stand on the shoulders of intelligent and wise and knowledgeable people. I myself am not one. But growing up religious in Jerusalem, going to yeshiva, living that life, sometimes for many years, keeping very strict rabbinic law, I've lived that life. It is a wonderful and blessed and recommended life, though I've veered off of that path and have taken on more of a personal path. I see that as a natural progression of keeping strict halacha. And some people might say that I'm deluding myself, like this gentleman here, right, Hunter, who says that I'm extremely delusional. Of course I'm delusional, but it's my delusion. Of course I'm making mistakes, but they are my mistakes to make. Not because somebody is telling me to do something, not because I feel that I'm commanded, to act this way or that way, but because I've come to the delusion and conclusion that this is how I want to live my life for the time being. And it may change, it's flexible, it's malleable, right? What do our sages teach us in the Mishnah? A person should be as flexible as a reed and not as tough or hard as a cedar tree. Because when the storm comes, the reed is able to bend. And when the storm comes, the cedar falls. Let's continue. Bro, Levites are for temple services, or you are priest too. No, I'm not a Kohen, I'm a Levi, I'm a Levite. I'm a Levite. Okay. Let's continue. יש המתירים לקרוא על נייר טואלט בשבת לצורך כבוד הבריות אף כדרכו. Exactly. Most halachic rulers would say you're not supposed to do it and that it's not lechatchila. But there are some who say, right? There are some who say that. So I'm 100% right when I say that even if most halachic rulers rule that it's not okay, there are halachic rulers who say that it is okay, even lechatchila. Let's continue. Flexible as a reed, that's a Wing Chun reference. Is it now? Is it now? Hey, Jackson Moon is here. How you doing, Jackson Moon? Jackson Moon said, eat shit, you hypocrite. And we had a lovely back and forth. I hope, Jackson Moon, I tagged you in that post. I hope we have a lot of questions about how I should be eating the shit. So please, either answer me here or leave another comment or get to that community post that I tagged you in, that I mentioned you in. We are all awaiting your wise and welcome answers. Hang on. Commercial? Commercial. Why do give kids on kibbutzim drugs and strippers? Manatee, I don't know. Do they give kids in kibbutzim drugs and strippers? That would seem highly, highly irregular and unorthodox, to say the least. Would actually like to sit down and smoke with you. Thanks, Jackson Moon. I appreciate that. I no longer partake regularly, but I just might at some point, and maybe with you. Who knows where life will take either one of us. It could be we will end up at some point in life sitting together and passing a joint. Who knows? Who knows? Back with some more jazz. All right. Let's continue. Did Wing Chun for years, the teacher often used that analogy. Yeah, Toda Salam. I'm not sure what Wing Chun is, actually. I don't know what that is. But if you say there is a teacher who teaches it, presumably it's some sort of a doctrine or a method or a discipline of some kind. So yeah, to be like the reed. The Tao Te Ching, right? Strong as a mountain, flowing as a river. Same sort of deal. Know when to be strong, know when to be flexible. Lao Tzu, right? What does he say in the Tao Te Ching? He says, the sage has no problem leading from the back. Not every Jewish person is killing Palestinians. You're just as racist as the ones you're putting down. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or not, skin crawling guy. I'm not sure. Because maybe you're talking to someone else in the chat. Anything but legs says, you are a very unique man. As long as your mistakes do not harm others, there's nothing wrong with your path. Keep being yourself and God will forever love you. Thank you. I deeply appreciate that. I wouldn't presume to know if God will love me or not. But I'm trying to live my life in such a way where I will do more good and less harm. Be more kind and less wicked. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right. Yes, le'olam yehe adam rach ka'kaneh ve'al yehe kashe ka'erez, precisely. And that's in the Mishnah, right? That's in Pirkei Avot, with the Talmud citing it. Someone in the comments. All right, cool. Just because he is from somewhere, he may not mean that he agrees with them, says Akron. Yes, that's exactly right. Bro, your God doesn't help me, so I think he doesn't exist. Once again, God does not exist, because existence also means the idea of non-existence, and that is already a duality, and God is not a duality, hence God does not exist, God is not real, God is not being as you and I are beings. So yeah, I agree. We all pray to the same God. Yes, some people say that and some people disagree. It really does depend. We just have different interpretations, says Skin Crawling Guy. Mohammed says, bro, please stop. Stop. Hammer time. What should I stop and what should I do if I stop? Where should I stop? How should I stop? Should I full stop? What do you think? Like gently press the brakes? Hey, Vigil is here. Abraham is Jesus' father, says High Drama. Really, I'm pretty sure Abraham was Isaac's father, Ishmael's father, and all of his other boys and girls that he had with Keturah. But okay, if you say so. Listen to the Satanist when he tells you how he really feels. Well, I'm not a Satanist, Hunter. I don't worship Satan, but I do think that he is one kick-ass servant of the Most High God, who is carrying out his job pristinely and exquisitely. But I'm not a Satanist. I'm not a Levian Satanist, like a modern-day Satanist in the Church of Satan, nor do I worship the adversarial elements of creation. I simply try to keep my distance from them and roll and strive with them when I must. And I have respect for the adversarial elements because they are the ones who challenge us to be more than we are. Because without challenge, there's no overcoming. Is this a jazz channel or a religious channel? I like the jazz. So, Michael Foster, the jazz is just here in the background, just YouTube. And I'm a fan of jazz, but I guess, you know, it's not jazz channel or religious channel. It's more of a Jewraffe channel. Make Israel Palestine again, says the manatee. Well, you know what? The Roman Empire fell. So they were the ones who called this place the province of Syria Palestine. If there is no Roman Empire, it means there are no longer Roman provinces. And so the name goes back to being Israel. That is what we called it. And if there are people who want to continue calling it the province of Assyria and Palestine, by all means they can do just that. Jackson Moon says, guess I was wrong about you. In what way, man? In what way? Shut up, clown, says Epic Nature Drone Shots. Hi, Epic Nature. Good to see you again, man. Actually starting to understand you, says Jackson Moon. Well, you know, in some things we might have understanding. In things we have disagreement. Sometimes we will be able to find similarities and common ground and to bridge the gaps through communication. And on some things we say, no, this is my hill to die on, this is your hill to die on. We can agree that no harm should be done frivolously for the sake of doing harm. I think we might be able to come together on that. OG says, what is going on? I think I'm tripping. Hello. Hey, OG Wall, how you doing, man? If you are tripping... Yeah, that should last you for a while. You seem like a chill guy, says Hell Quotient. Yeah, I have my moments. I have my moments of being chill. You're my new favorite Jew. Thanks, Skin Crawling Guy. I appreciate the love. Thank you. I don't know if I deserve it. I hope, if anything, to merit it in earnest. But who knows? Who knows what this Jew's gonna do? Who knows? I'm late, but I'm happy the thumbnails are back. Hey, Bodacious, how you doing? You may not consider yourself a teacher, but you are a spiritual warrior, dude. Thank you, Toda Salam. I don't seek to be a warrior either, right? I mean, Bob Marley, what did Bob Marley and the Wailers, right? I no come to fight flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high and low places. So while they fight you down, stand firm and give Yah thanks and praises. So yeah. Stop reading a Bible and start reading a history book. I have done both, TV. I have studied some history and I have studied some Bible in my life. They don't both always coincide, so there are differences between them, but I have read Bible and some history in my life. You're interesting, says Josh, because we're not similar enough to land in Uncanny Valley. I'm not sure what you mean. We're not similar enough to land in Uncanny Valley. I'm not sure what you mean. Can you dumb it down for me? I'm ignorant. Explain it like I'm 5. Bro, you slandered elephant. Elephants are after you. I did not slander elephants. I'm a fan of elephants. Not a Jew, says Lena. Really? I'm pretty sure that I am of the remnants of the kingdom of Judah, living in Judea. That makes me a Jew, right? As far as genealogy is concerned. It makes me a Jew as far as geography, the geographical location where I'm at is concerned. How am I not? And I'm trying to follow the Torah and the commandments. That kind of makes me a Jew, however you want to look at it. Though I don't call myself Jew, I'm more into the word Hebrew, because Hebrew is more all-encompassing, while Jew is somewhat limiting, right? The Jews are the remnants of the kingdom of Judah. The Hebrews are all. So how am I not a Jew? I'd love to know. Why do the Jews always disobey God, says Ricky Bobby? Because we are a stiff-necked people. That's why. But there will come a time when we will be able to finally circumcise our hearts, circumcise our ears, metaphorically speaking. Be able to truly accept our role and manifest our divine revelation, right? Our own unique image of God in which we are created, as alongside the rest of humanity, also created in the image of God, and finally fulfill our task and fulfill our mission, carry out the commandments, not break the covenant. But why do Jews always disobey God? Because that's just how we roll, but it won't always be that way. It won't always be that way. MCG says, he gone evil one with your negative comments. What? I'm not sure what you mean. James Kirk, hi Captain Kirk, are you in Israel? Yes, I am. Do you support Palestinian resistance to Israeli settler violence? If it is indeed unprovoked violence on the part of the settler, yes, they should resist that. Because if somebody is coming to attack you and you didn't do anything to them, yes, defend yourself. That's part of human nature. I apologize for my harsh words. Thanks, Jackson Moon, I appreciate it. No need for any apology. This is the internet. It's the internet. People will say all kinds of things, and it's all well and good. I'm here having conversations with people. You have conversed with me. You have my thanks. So no need to apologize. Do you observe the 7... I'm sorry, wait. Do you observe the 7 feasts? Which 7 feasts? We have Shloshet HaRegalim. We have Chanukah. We have Purim. We have Rosh Hashanah. Yom Ha'atzmaut, Chag Ha'atzmaut. Which one is the 7th one? Which one is the 7 feasts? I do observe all the fast days, all the holidays, all the feasts and fasts, and good, and Yomim Tovim. So yes, I do observe the feasts. Shavuot, Pesach, Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippurim, Chanukah, Purim. So the Oraita ones and the Rabbanan ones. Yes, I do. Hey, David the Blade, thanks a lot, man, I appreciate it. Reminding you that all the money you give here, after YouTube takes its cut, ends up in my bank account, and where I then give it to charitable organizations here in Jerusalem who serve the entire population, East and West Jerusalem alike, individuals and families in need. That is where your money, your hard-earned bucks are going. Bucks, euros, rubles, drachmas, yen, yuan. It's all 100% settler violence. No, AJ, I disagree. The Hilltop Youth is committing all the violence against the Palestinians. First of all, no. Not all of them are Hilltop Youth, what's known as No'ar HaGvaot. I disagree. I think there are others outside of them who are also committing violence. Now let's be clear about this. If it's violence because, I'm not a fan of retaliation and all that, but sometimes you do need to assert your dominance, as it were. And if people are coming to attack you, you defend yourself, and sometimes retaliation is called for, though it goes on a case-by-case basis. So, if there is violence that is uncalled for, and these hilltop youth are just going and mutilating animals, burning crops, tearing down trees, burning homes, unprovoked, I'm against that. That is not okay. Despite any strategic or security or tactical advantage it may give them or the army, or as a go-to from the onset, that's not the way that I think is kosher behavior. I don't think it's moral or ethical or justified by Zionism. So I'm against that. If there is violence that is being done by settlers or hilltop youth because others have showed up and attacked them when they did not provoke them, then that's a different story. And then it's already the cycle that never ends. You screw me, I screw you. You screw me, I screw you. You would think with all of this constant screwing, somebody would be happy and satisfied, be able to pass a joint, But no, more bloodshed, more bloodshed. No more war. May bloodshed and terrorism and war and conflict be lifted clean out of creation even right now as I'm speaking these words. May we know peace and justice and righteousness, prosperity, thriving, humility, straightforwardness. May we be able to embrace each other as humanity, as human beings. Ugh, may it be so. Okay. Smoke more crack. I've never smoked crack, high drama. Never have I ever smoked crack. I don't think I will either. I've heard that, I've heard it can feel great, but it can totally ruin your life. So I'm not going to do that. Bro is defending settlers. Yes, I am, because some of those settlements are 100% legal. I support them. Not the violence, unprovoked, no. But them being there, if it's legal, yes. If it's illegal, no. If it's illegal and then they make it legal, I don't support that either. I don't think that's the way to go. But I don't know the laws. Sometimes it actually has to do with legal proceedings, things that are in limbo, things that are, I don't know. I do really go on a case-by-case basis. That's why I say that I'm not politically affiliated with any side. I don't go with the left, right, or the center, right? I go with, tell me the scenario, give me the details, what is the story, I'll be able to address it and tell you what I think in that particular instance. That's it, that's how I roll. Because these things are way too convoluted and nuanced to be tarred with one brush. And there are those who tar settlers with one brush. There are those who tar all Palestinians with one brush. I'm not that person. I'm simply not that guy. Let's continue. Bro, God tell you to never create a country. That is false, born to cull. That is actually false. Nowhere in the Torah does it ever say that. Nowhere in the Bible does it ever say that. Nowhere in the Midrash or oral traditions does it ever say that. All this is a disagreement over what should come first. Should the physical come first, like the tabernacle and the temple or the dry bones of Ezekiel, where the physical came first and then the spiritual dwelled in it? Or should it be a spiritual calling from on high, a prophecy, an angelic revelation, or a prophet rather, or an angelic revelation, a clear-cut sign of the spiritual variety that would then tell us your sin is forgiven, go back to the land physically? That's what this argument is about. But to all the people who think that it says that we're not allowed to have a country, that's bullshit. It never says that, ever. To all the people who are saying that the state of Israel is an abomination, that it is abhorrent, it's wrong in the eyes of God, it's not halachically. No, it is an opinion. Opinion. It's not a halacha. It isn't. So, if you say the spiritual come first and only then the physical, you would think the state of Israel is not a good thing. If you say, no, the physical come first. The physical, the foundation of material things come first, and then the spiritual, right? You build a vessel, and then the spiritual can dwell in it. Then that's the state of Israel, and that's modern-day Zionism, despite its roots in the mid-19th century socialist, secular Enlightenment behavior. Yes, That philosophy was not about the covenant. That philosophy was not about the Torah. The early modern-day Zionists were just about, it's our historical ancestral home. Let's go back there. Forget God, forget Torah, forget any divine promise. We were there, let's go back there. Nothing to do with the Torah. They were anti-religious in some cases. Really anti-religious in some cases. So, God never said don't create a country. Never. Not in the Torah, not in the Bible, and not in the oral traditions. There is such an opinion based on the 3 oaths in the Song of Solomon, Shir HaShirim. But there are many prophecies and other opinions and other teachings to counter that. Not least of which is the tabernacle and the temple and the dry bones of Ezekiel, which signify the true rejuvenation of the nation. And so you're going to say, oh, no, I don't agree with all that. I only agree with that part. Well, good for you. It doesn't make it so. All right. RJ says, so by your logic, everything you're saying right now, it's all an opinion. Yes, everything I'm saying is just my opinion. I might cite halacha. I might cite verses. I might cite Mishnah or Talmud or Midrash or other teachings. But I still formulate all that and synthesize all of that into an opinion from my from my tiny little brain. That's all that this is. And that's why I say I'm not a teacher or a preacher or an educated man, right? Nothing. And I'm not here to teach. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to educate you. I'm not here to tell you why I'm right and you're wrong. I'm not here to sway your opinion or change your views or alter your judgments or your thoughts, your preconceived notions of... No, we're just here to speak. We're just here to have some discourse, some back and forth. That's all that this is. Why were the Zionists turned away from 109 countries before going to Palestine? That is not true. Never has that ever happened. The earlier Zionists were actually offered, right, Uganda, and they said no. They turned it away. They were offered part of the Soviet Union. They said no, they turned that away. They were offered, I think, part of Kimberley, Australia, or that was in the works, and they said no. So, insofar as that's not 109 countries that we were turned away from. That's not the way that goes. There are people who say we were kicked out of 109 countries, and that's not true either. Jews were kicked out en masse from between 15 or 20 countries max, not even close to being a fifth of 109. Let's continue. Hanazir min hadarom viter al sa'aro hayafe. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. The Nazarite of the north, of the south, gave up his beautiful hair. Yes, because he was a Nazarite for a set period of time. And Rabbi Shimon said he was the only Nazarite that he ate his sin offering. That much is true. If you are a millionaire, you don't need other people's money to donate to charity. Well, what do you mean? I donate to charity of my own. All I said was that, way before I was monetized, I said that I don't want to make money off of other people's views and engagement, right? If I get some sort of a sponsorship or a brand deal, I plan on giving a tithe from that, a tenth, and keeping the rest. But insofar as ad revenue, super chats, super stickers, super thanks, I want this channel to be a source of welfare and kindness to others here in Jerusalem. So that's why I give the revenue from YouTube to charity. Also, I'm not a millionaire. Never did I claim to be a millionaire. I don't know where you're getting that from. You literally asked me a week or two ago, are you a millionaire? And I said, no, I'm not. I live a life of abundance, yes, but I'm not a millionaire in any way, shape, or form. The olive trees torn down by IDF troops on Palestinian farms lived for hundreds of years before your invasion, says Manatee. So wait, are we talking about a war? And this is one of the battles that took place, since you mentioned IDF troops? Or are you talking about civilian settlers who are causing violence? You need to decide what you're talking about here, Manatee. One of those things is permissible, if not unfortunate, right? It's very unfortunate, but still permissible as an act of war. It's not a good thing either. It's not a good thing. The Torah itself says, do not uproot trees that bear fruit in order to siege. But okay, let us continue. He will never understand grace and mercy or the love of Jesus, says Welcome All. Well, I think that is very closed-minded of you, Welcome All, because there are many ways to understand grace and mercy. Some of them don't have to do with Jesus that you consider to be the epitome of all of these things. But okay, if you say so, I won't take that away from you. I'm not gatekeeping. You apparently are. So congratulations on being the gatekeeper and the arbiter of grace and mercy. Congrats. All right. IJ says, so why did the banner on the refugee boat that brought the Zionists into Palestine read in big bold letters, please don't turn us away? I'm assuming it's because the British Mandate of Palestine was the overseer. The Brits never actually made the land part of their empire. They'd never annexed the land. They were overseers, right? The League of Nations put them in place, and later that became the UN. So, please don't turn us away was for those in charge. Those in charge were, I believe, the British. And that is why they said, please don't turn us away. I might be wrong. What is the precise scenario? What is the circumstance of which you are speaking here? That will better inform me on how to address your question. Ashkenazi and Khazar Empire is not a Jew. The Bible says it. Tiffany, you obviously have never read the Hebrew Bible, because Ashkenaz is a geographical location. Khazar was also a geographical location and a kingdom or an empire, depending on how you want to see it. So even if we do accept the fact that there were Jews from Judea living in Khazar, living in Ashkenaz, or that there were converts from Ashkenaz, converts from Khazar, they are all 100% part of the Hebrew people. In other words, you're full of crap and you've obviously never read the Bible, or you've read some biased, mistranslated, convoluted, agenda-ridden Bible. Because nowhere in the Bible does it say that ever. Conversion is a thing. Being born Jewish, Hebrew, to a Hebrew mother all over the world is still a thing. So any way you choose to look at that statement, it is 100% false. How can you be sure the money you are donating to the so-called charity wouldn't get in hands of people that don't give a shit about the poor? So I do take it into account that some of the money that I give to the charity will be used for admin purposes and for the few people who are actually on the payroll. But since I want to be 100% transparent about the charity money, I need to give to an organization or a group that can provide me with a receipt with which I can that I can post online and say, here, look, this is the place that I gave to, here's how much I gave to them, and this is when I gave to them. Because I want to be 100% transparent about the money, your hard-earned money, that you are giving to places here in Jerusalem. Right? To places and people, that is. To organizations and the people here in Jerusalem. That's why. And if I just give it away to poor people on the street, I would not want to film that. I would not want to photograph that. I would not want to post that. I think that's a little bit cringy or iffy. So I choose, despite the detriments, I cannot be sure 100%. But these are charitable organizations that are verified by the state, and they are themselves transparent with the ones who receive salary. Who is on the payroll? How much do they get paid? What, right? They are in and of themselves. I give through a website called JGive. And some of those organizations are more transparent, and some of them are less transparent about their goings-on and their dealings and doings within their organization. I try for it to be. I make a sincere attempt for it to be as kosher as possible, as moral or ethical as possible, and in a way where I can show you good people who gave the money where your money is going, right? Which organization and how much. That's it. That's why I do what I do. What's with the giraffe PJs, says Eric. It's just, I'm a giraffe. That's what I am today. Bible is not history. Sorry, bro. I agree. Bible is not 100% historically accurate. That is true. So, I didn't say Bible is like 100% historically accurate. Pardon me. No, bro, it's not. Human history goes beyond the fact. Yes, I agree with that too. The Bible was compiled a couple of thousand years ago. Humanity has been around for many, many dozens of thousands of years, obviously. I'm gonna go fill my water. Be back in 10 to 20 seconds. Okay. Let's continue. Should I go soon? I think I'm gonna go soon. I only deal with facts, says TV. Okay, so on some things we will agree, on other things we will disagree. I'm okay with that. Are you? Because if you're here to simply counter what I'm saying, I'll say, okay, that's cool. We can have the conversation. I'm not stating that everything I'm saying here is absolute, verifiable, documented fact. There are times when I am, and I make a point to say, this is history. And then if you want to argue, oh, but history is written by the victors, and history is written by the winners, and history can be manipulated and censored and rewritten and overwritten. It's like you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And that's why I don't claim any independent truth, knowledge, or wisdom. I claim to say, this is the Torah, this is the Bible, these are the commandments, these are the midrashic teachings, these are the oral traditions, this is what this person says about that. At no point do I say, and that is the absolute truth of everything, ever. Why you a coffee addict? I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. Do you think I'm addicted to coffee? Drink water and save life. I don't know what one has to do with the other, unless the life I'm saving is my own. I drink water usually. I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. Am I a coffee addict? Hardly. Some people drink 7, 8, 10 cups of coffee in a day. People in the chat, if I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, am I a coffee addict? Let's continue. Whiskey is better than coffee for health. Yes, maybe. I loved single malt back when I was still drinking. I loved single malt scotch. I no longer partake of alcohol, but oh man, that stuff does taste good. Can you go without it? Yes, I can, Smoochie. I definitely can. You just disregarded the farms comment because invasion triggered you? No, Manatee. I agreed with you. If people are burning down farms, uprooting trees, destroying homes, and are being violent just for the sake of being violent with no provocation and just in order to say, we are the controllers of your land too, I'm against that. If it's part of an ongoing war, and these are IDF soldiers, okay? And it's in the middle of a battle, and for whatever reason, trees need to be uprooted. I don't know what the scenario is. I told you, give me the details, give me the scenario, tell me the circumstances, and then I'll address it. So there are times when I might agree with you. That is reprehensible, abhorrent behavior. And there are times when I will say, no, I do see the point. I understand why in this particular context and in this particular scenario, trees had to be uprooted. I don't know. I come into a situation without too many preconceived ideas of what could be or ought to be. It's all there, that infinite potential. So, you're saying I disregard. I did not disregard. I completely addressed it in the very same way that I addressed it now. How is that disregarding when I'm literally telling you that you and I might agree depending on the case at hand? How is that disregarding? Please, be more honest than that. Let's see. You are too stupid to understand that Jesus is smarter Jew than you. Really? Did I ever claim to be smarter than Jesus? People in the chat, I don't think I've ever claimed that, but correct me if I'm wrong. Second of all, I am very stupid. I'll give you that. What's your name there? Samo Jacko? I am indeed stupid. And I am too stupid to understand many things. Many things. I only have a few brain cells left and they're, fighting in amongst themselves. It's a whole thing. So I am stupid. I am too stupid to understand certain things. And I never said that Jesus is not smarter than me. Jesus was a great sage. If we do take him, as he is mentioned in the Talmud, to be the student of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Prachya at the time of the Second Temple, of course he is smarter than me. more knowledgeable than me, more righteous than me. The thing is that he is a dead man, and I'm still living. So I currently have the upper hand. He can no longer perform the commandments. He can no longer keep the Torah. I, despite my dumbassity, and dumbassness, and dumbassanicity, I have the ability, the simple dumbass me, I have the ability to do things that all of the righteous dead folk do not have the ability to do. I can sit here, or stand, as the case may be, and praise Adonai. I can stand here and keep commandments and Torah. They cannot. And in that sense, yes, I am greater, because I'm still here drawing breath and living. They are not. But I never ever said that I'm smarter. That is you putting words in my mouth, and that is disingenuous and dishonest, deceitful, and an asinine thing to do, because it undermines your credibility, if you have any. Let's continue. Hey, Nami is here. Nice jazz. Thanks, I appreciate that. What do you think of the Sikhs? I love the idea of the 5 articles that they carry. I've never encountered a Sikh that carries all 5. From what I've been told, you have your favorites and you go with it. Most of them have the turban, some of them have the bracelet, some of them have the dagger. I don't recall what the other 2 are. I always forget 1 or 2 of them. But, a comb? I don't remember. But, I'm not a Sikh, but the Sikhs that I've spoken to have always been very peaceable, have always been very positive, have always been very, positive, just very positive folk. That's been my experience with the Sikhs. Apple says, Toda Rabah, Hebrew Nazarite, to your way to think and this channel. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the good vibes, and the encouragement. Tiffany says, you disrespect dog. Jesus was resurrected. Yes, resurrection has its roots in the Hebrew Bible. I have no problem with saying that he was resurrected or that he ascended. Both of those things have their roots in the Hebrew Bible. A couple of people never even died and ascended before dying. A couple of people, or more than a couple, have been resurrected. I have no problem with Jesus resurrecting and ascending. He's simply not God. He's not the divine. He is not the creator. He can be for you who follow him. That's all well and good. I'm not telling you what you to believe, I'm not telling you what you should believe. For the Hebrews, there is no such revelation. For the Hebrews, there is no such tradition. There is no such way as a God incarnate, a God in flesh. As for being a disrespect dog, I'm assuming you meant disrespectful dog. It should be very apparent to you, Tiffany, I am a disrespectful giraffe. And if me saying that Jesus was a sage and a potential prophet and a potential king and a righteous man, if that is me disrespecting him, simply because I also say in the same breath, and he's dead, well, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Water. That guy says if Palestine was just a region under the Roman Empire that no longer exists, and you don't have to recognize. No, I do recognize that there are people here who lived here for hundreds and thousands of years who are not Jewish, so they call themselves Palestinians. They can call themselves, the Rancho Cucamongas. It doesn't matter what they call themselves. They are here, and they are innocent people. Until they do war, they're innocent. And I have no problem with that, so let's make that clear. Okay, now I'll continue reading. Isn't Israel just what the Jews called this place 2,000 years ago that I don't recognize? No. First of all, it's over 3,000 years ago. That's beside the point. The difference is that there has been a continuous presence here of Jews, unbroken, for over 3,000 years. It has always been our ancestral home. It has always been the place to which we turn, the place to which we pray, the place that we invoke, the place that we want to go home to. Always that has been. And there has been a presence of Jews here, sometimes more, sometimes less. So if you want to say that Palestine is something you don't recognize, Israel is something you don't recognize, and you recognize it as Canaan, well, okay, fair enough. The 7 nations that ruled here in Canaan are no longer. Israel is here. If you consider it to be Palestine, because the Romans called it Syria Palestina, then the Palestinians are here, Jews and Muslims alike. were Palestinians, held a Palestinian passport under the British mandate of, you guessed it, Palestine and Transjordan. So feel free to recognize what you want and not recognize what you do not want. It all comes down to the lens through which you view reality and when you choose to start the clock. What is the time frame from which you choose to begin counting it starts now? 30 years ago? 300 years ago? 3,000 years ago? 30,000 years ago? When does the clock start for you? That's what it breaks down. You know, that's when it breaks down. Bro, I scored good marks in my exams. I want to say thank you for motivating me. Hey, Kunal, that's all you. I didn't do a thing. I'm really happy that you got good marks on your exams. It makes me feel good that you put in the effort and you got good grades. Good for you. I hope you continue to work hard and get good grades. Let's continue. Big Mac, you have said that you believe Enoch ascended, and I was just wondering, why don't you believe Jesus also ascended? I have no problem to believe that Jesus ascended. No problem. That has its roots in the Hebrew Bible. Genuinely curious, did you already answer this? I had to take a break for a sec. So, yes, I've answered this. I consider him to be dead in the sense that I do not follow the dead as if they are living. I do not follow. So even if he was a potential anointed one and a king, his reign ended when he died. His reign ended. And if he ascended, that means that he is ascended, received angelic garments, or whatever it is, in the same way that Elijah and Hanoch did. If you want to go that route, they never died. They ascended without dying, according to tradition. So, however you choose to look at it, he is not living, ruling now. He is not a living, breathing, walking, talking, ruling monarch. That's all I'm saying. And so I do not follow him. You can follow in his teachings, his lore, in his footsteps, in his ways, but not follow him as a god, not follow him as a living king, as a leader, right? As an actual monarch that is on the throne. No. That's where I see a difference. Let's continue. How much of the world have you seen? None of the world. I've been a little bit to Europe. That's pretty much it. I don't have the travel bug. I have no need to see other places. I have no need to experience other cultures. I have I have nothing stirring inside of me to go and experience this or that, or, take a boat, or, charter a plane, or go on a cruise, or... I'm really a homebody, whether it's in my home, or whether it's in Jerusalem that I barely ever leave, or whether it's Israel that I barely ever leave. That's simply the way that I roll. I have nothing against those who are, travel, jet setters. Small world, says Xandar Holyfield. Yes, indeed, it is a small world. Let's continue. Why Tamar was not punished by God for tricking Judah? I think that she was not punished because her intent was good, right? She saw that Judah was not a man of his word, and she did not receive Shiloh, right? After Shelah, not Shiloh, Shelah. After Er died, and after Onan died, and Shelah was still young, and Yehudah said he will be your partner later on. And then Shelah grew up, and she was like, no, and she was like, no, I need to do something about this. So she wanted, right? You must remember that it is from the seed of Judah that King David later arrived. King David's line is later said to be the line of the final Messiah, the final King of Israel, the one who will bring about this great shift. Tamar wanted to make this happen. And that's why she was not punished. Because in that sense, she did not miss the mark. Just instead of being with Shelah, she was with Judah. I think that's why she wasn't punished. It's a big, beautiful world. Probably better that you stay in your small one. Yeah, I think it is. Because I have everything I need right here. I really do. There's not much that I'm lacking in this life. By the grace of the Most High God, I don't feel the lack. In the very same way that I don't feel the need, right? I have not the FOMO. You see what I'm saying? Let's continue. Soviet Kong says, sounds like the Pound just showed up to investigate reports of an escaped giraffe. Have a nice day, maybe tonight between the crickets, says MM. Tonight between the crickets, what? New Zealand is great. I think you would like it. I've heard very good things about New Zealand. I've heard it's beautiful. Beautiful. Xander says, maybe a suit. I have worn a suit. Men drink whiskey. Women drink wine. Teens drink coffee. Kids drink milk. Gods drink water or blood. All right, that's cool, Kunal. That's pretty cool. Big Mac says, man, I hope someday we can all just be chilling together in heaven, eating grapes the size of apples, a world with no sin, no death. Yes, may it be so. May it be so. Yesterday you were outside, you could hear the crickets. Yes, that's right, I was. Congrats on the suits. Thanks, Xander. Appreciate it. Ay. Okay. Almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm gonna go soon. What time is it? 12:30 p.m. Beautiful. Okay. Maybe I'll sit down. Yeah, I've stood long enough. Let's sit down. Hang on. Let me get the tripod. There we go. Okay. So, I'm getting a little hot. Hang on a sec. Oh, yeah. Woo! Okay, it's a little hot in this onesie. Wait, my glasses. Gotta clean the glasses. You know what? Let's go somewhere else. Let's try a different sort of jazz. What do you say, people? My hair's all flat from the onesie. Hang on a second. Let's see. Here we go. Let's do that. Will I have a commercial? Let's see. I think I will. Maybe, maybe not. Come on. Yes. Okay, so I'll wait. Bro, you look better without glasses. Yes, I actually had contact lenses when I was 16. And I enjoyed that. And then I lost them on a flight to New York. And I just never got... Hang on. There. I just never got other glasses. I never got other contact lenses. Dave Brubeck. Let's go. Would love to see him shaved, says MM. Yeah. Jazz is great, let us hear it. So, take 5. Spend the money to skip commercials. Maybe. Robin says, for unto us a son is born. Yes. Greatest warrior in Jewish history. I mean, I think it's a toss-up between, let's say, I don't know. I mean, David or some of his warriors, I would think. Maybe. Or maybe Yoav. I'm not sure. Don't be cheap, says Xander. I don't know if I'm cheap just because I don't have YouTube Premium. I don't think that's being cheap. Maybe I am. You have good taste in music. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Bastet. Good to see you again. If I didn't say hello to you, hi. Hello, Bastet. Perfect harmony with God's law seems almost unattainable right now. Yes, right now. Big Mac Orange. The nations are in full revolt against the spirit of truth. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if full revolt. But time will come. I don't know how it will come, but a time will come, right? There will be that perfect harmony. I don't know how it will come, but it will. Giraffe versus gazelle, says Xander. Did Joseph become head of 2 tribes, says Kunal. Yes, there are times when it's called the tribe of Joseph, and there are times when it's called Menashe and Ephraim. But there are no 13 tribes, it's 12. Sometimes Levi is counted, sometimes Levi is not counted among the 12. When Levi is not counted among the 12, then the house of Joseph splits into two. If Levi is counted among the 12, the two are counted as Joseph. I have to ask, says Muy Grande, do you know there is a fire sprinkler behind you? That's what I do for a living. I'm curious about fire safety codes in Jerusalem. A fire sprinkler behind me? That's not a fire sprinkler. I have a couple of outlets, a phone outlet, and a switch. How is it a fire sprinkler behind me? I don't understand. The term Nazarite referred to Nazir. That's correct. Nazarite with an A or Nazarite with an I. I am a Nazir Shimshon. That is what I am in Hebrew. Nazir Shimshon, APO. That is correct. I think he means in the ceiling. No, there are no fire sprinklers in the ceiling here either. Is there any Jewish sects that still practice foot washing? Yes, I believe the Karaites do, and the Samaritans probably do. Those are the ones that practice foot washing, I believe. I know the Karaites or the Samaritans or both pray barefoot. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken. I think they pray barefoot, or is it barefooted? But okay. You're a lie, says Tiffany. A lie is a type of soap, is it not? Levi is always counted in the 12. You don't know what you're talking about. Levi tribe are the Haitians. We know who they are. Again, Tiffany, you've never read the Torah, ever, if you think that Levi is always counted among the 12. Levi is not counted among the 12, let's say, when it comes to the army, where Levi is counted separately. Levi is not counted among those who receive inheritance, because Adonai is the inheritance of Levi. They do not receive inheritance of earthly of land. So you're wrong. You're 100% mistaken, and that means to me that you've never properly read the Torah or the rest of the Bible when those lands are doled out. And that makes the rest of your argument about me being a liar kind of fall really flat. Sorry. You might want to actually counter me with things that are Bible if you're going to talk to me about the tribe of Levi that I'm a part of, and if you're going to talk to me about the Haitians being one of the 12 tribes. It could very well be that part of the Haitians are part of the tribe of Levi, because there were Levites in the kingdom of Judah, and there were Levites in the kingdom of Israel. The kingdom of Israel was exiled by Assyria. The kingdom of Judah was exiled by Babylon. The Levites were spread about. It could very well be that there are people in Haiti who have ancestry and lineage going back to the tribe of Levi, by all means. To call me a liar because of that is A, not to know the Bible, B, not to know history, and C, to be highly presumptuous. So presumptuous that you think that what you're saying is right and what I'm saying is wrong. No, I don't think that's the case at all. What's next? Commercial. Let's wait. Okay. Hang on. You're not a part of it. I am tribe of Judah, really. I know what I'm talking about. You don't know truth. Sorry. I didn't claim to know truth. Hang on. Yeah. I didn't claim to know truth. I'm citing actual Torah verses, actual Torah passages. You're citing whatever it is you're pulling out of your ass. Now, fair enough. I love pulling things out of asses, and it's great. But you don't get to pull something out of your ass and then come at me with it and say that what I'm saying is wrong or that I'm a liar when I'm literally quoting Torah and passages and verses in the Torah and the Bible. Sorry, you don't get to do that. Because if you claim to believe in the Bible or in the Torah, then you would know that what I'm saying is true, which once again simply puts in full display your arrogance, your ignorance, and your inadequacy in formulating an argument that you can actually stand behind. That's not the way this works. Now bear in mind, I'm not a debater, but what you're saying is demonstrably false to anyone who knows anything about the Torah. Toda Salam says to her, your kind of delusion is actually scary. Maybe. I mean, I don't think she doesn't scare me, but okay, it's all good. Levi are the Haitians, sir. No, I'm actually speaking from King James Version of the Bible, sir. Yes, a Christian Bible. Congratulations. What does that have to do with me? Literally. What does that have to do with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I enjoy the poetic language of the King James Bible, but it's a Christian Bible. And if you read the Genesis to Deuteronomy portions of your King James Bible, you will still find what I'm saying to be true. So you're wrong on all of those counts. Okay. I think on that lovely note that I'm going to say goodbye. Well, soon, very soon. Levites were the priestly line, correct? Hi, Angel Baby. The priests are one family of Levites, the family of Levites originating in Aaron, Moses' older brother, and Miriam's younger brother. So, the people of the seed of Aharon, of Aaron, are priests. In other words, all priests are Levites, but not all Levites are priests. Most of the tribe of Levi are Levites. One family are priests. That is how it goes down. You're real, man. You're okay. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. It's good to see you here again. I think I've seen you here before. They stole it from your so-called people. You don't know anything. Tiffany, listen. I'm really trying to engage with you in good faith. But you're just saying things that are so... you're not citing any sources or bringing any kind of... you're not hedging your argument in anything that I can actually go to and see, oh, she was right and I was wrong and this is what it says. So I don't know what to do about that. Second of all, what you're saying does not align with the Torah or with the rest of the Hebrew Bible. So even if you do have a King James translation, or some people call it the King James perversion, then you're not really bringing anything for me to work with here. So I'm just going to say, you might be wrong. If you guys like Palestine, check out Salamashi, says the manatee. All right, you heard him. The manatee said, if you like Palestine, check out Salamashi. Go for it. Angel says, cool, does that still apply today in your culture? Yes, the Levites and the priests do have duties, let's say, nowadays outside of the temple. They have, they're given precedence in certain things in synagogue, and they are called first to the Torah. There is the redeeming of the firstborn, of which the priest is a part of. There is the washing of the hands of the priests before the priestly blessing, which is the Levites carry out. So yes, they do have some roles in worship and in the culture and the rituals, but very, very minute. Very minute. So it still does apply in today's culture to a small degree. Okay. I don't want to be here, says Tiffany, but God stopped me to save anyone in the comments out of here, especially the tribes. All right, Tiffany, it's good that you're coming with good intent. It's good that you're coming with this idea of God stopped you here to fulfill a purpose. I dig that. I'm on board with that. That is good. But if you're coming at me and you're not giving any sort of credence or not citing any sources, then understand that your argument kind of falls on its face. It really does. All right, what's next here? No, another commercial. Humbug Guru, good to see you again, man. 2 Siamese elephants joined end to end could only go sideways. Elephants? That's a cute way of phrasing it. All right. Muy Grande says, some Slayer. So you mean by Slayer, you mean the band? I never got into them, really. I appreciate them as a band, as a metal, right, metal band, but heavy metal, death metal, what are Slayer? But whatever genre of metal they are. But I never really got into them, I gotta say. Yeah, LOL, yeah. No, I'm not in a slaying mood. Justin says the Temple of Solomon was used before the New Covenant. It stopped after he established the second. What second covenant did... I'm sorry. What second... Are you talking, which second covenant are you referring to? I'm not sure. I like Steely Dan. Oh, Oliphant's in the room. I see what you mean, Humbug Guru. I like Steely Dan. That's another band, right, things that I've heard of theirs I enjoyed, but I never really got into them, and I never really looked into their discography. Okay. Soviet Kong says, weren't Haitians the little gliding moles going from tree to tree? Nation building as well on Pangaea. So Pangaea was the supercontinent, correct? Before the breakup of Pangaea into the different continents. I saw the Black Hebrew people claiming a supercontinent from 120 million years ago as well. So yeah, the supercontinent of Pangaea. Are you a scroll, Levi, or Kohen? I don't know what you mean by am I a scroll, but I'm a Levi. That is what I am traditionally, Gem suit up. Hi, Gem. How you doing? Angel says, very interesting, thanks for sharing. I just finished reading Deuteronomy and Leviticus, so I find that very cool. Yeah, Zappa is also sick. Obviously, Big Mac. I love me some Zappa. Love Zappa. I like Baroque chamber music and Norwegian death metal mostly. Those are two very, very different things, are they not? A fusion of both with wailing harpsichord is my true genre. Wow. Norwegian death metal, you say? That's quite a thing. Sadet says, can you understand pain of Yeshua, Jesus, HZ, Isa? Yet he called for forgiveness. Forgiveness is path to a pure heart. Let us all call for peace among descendants of Abraham. Hey, you know what? While we are at it, let's call for peace among all earthlings, among all humanity, among all creation. Why stop at the descendants of Abraham? Justin says, I'm taking it out of context. Hang on. Okay, cool. Freak Out is so-called first prog album, but by some, but I say King Crimson. Well, I mean, Freak Out is the first one by Zappa and the Mothers, right? King Crimson being the first one? Maybe. I love King Crimson, especially their earlier work. I love Yes, especially their earlier work. Fabio says, nice outfit. Thanks, Fabio. How you doing, man? Awesome outfit. I appreciate that. Okay. People! Alright, let's stop the music. Or should I wait until it's over? When is this going to be over? Hang on. Come on. What's going on? That's a lovely horn. Alright, I'm just going to stop it then. It's not showing me... Oh, the batteries are not aligned. Hang on a sec. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to say thank you, those watching now, those watching later. This has been such a pleasure. This has been such a privilege to live stream with you live from Jerusalem. Your questions, and your encouragement and your insults and your vitriol and your delusions and my delusions all bundled up together in a lovely YouTube package of pontification. It's been lovely, and I deeply appreciate every like, every sub, every view, every chat, every comment, every insult, every Nazi, every hater, every troll. It's all really, really appreciated. And if you want to hit me up in the DMs, Hebrew Nazarite across the board, on X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I don't really post, but I'm there for the DMs. If you want to hit me up and have a conversation, I'd love to do that when I have the time. I am sorry if I missed you in the chat. If I missed you in the chat, please do leave a comment, because I address every single comment that YouTube notifies me of that is addressed to me. And sometimes, because I know YouTube can be faulty, I actually go and seek out the comments and refresh the page and whatnot to see if I missed anything, because I care about what you have to say. Yes, I do. Reminding you once again, all the money you give to this channel after YouTube takes its cut goes to charity here in Jerusalem. 100% of what ends up in my bank account, other than maybe a few cents that, if I need to, but you know what I mean. 100% pretty much. 99.9% of it, sometimes literally 100% goes to charity. And your engagement, your attention, and your participation is not taken for granted. You could be doing anything else, literally anything else right now, but you're here with me, those watching now, those watching later, It's not something I take for granted. For 3 hours now I've been with you here. We have loved and we have laughed and we have cried and we have farted and we have done so many things. And a quick prayer to end this lovely stream, a prayer for unity, a prayer for love, a prayer for peace and justice and righteousness, for humility, for walking plainly and simply and humbly before God. I pray that we will be able to overcome our weaknesses. I pray we will be able to overcome our shortcomings and our differences and be able to embrace one another within our true humanity and as earthlings made in the image of God. May we be able to come together and bridge the gaps and find common ground, and may death and warfare and bloodshed be taken away from creation even right now as I'm speaking these words, and may we merit those newer times, the better times, that new heaven and new earth, a new covenant, that world to come, the Eden to go back to, the Sabbath that never came to pass or that has not yet come to pass, to partake as a unified, celebrated human race, to partake of the fruit of the tree of life, to go back to the Eden that this time we merited, that we earned, to bring Eden into this world with our thoughts and with our deeds and with our dealings and doings. May it be so. Peace and love from Zion. Have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, whoever you are, wherever you are. It's great to have you on board, and I'll see you next time on the next live stream where the wonders never cease.